Everybody, welcome back to HitPoint, a JRPG news show, a niche news show, anime news show, everything that basically Baku and I care about kind of show. You know, anything that strikes our fancy. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you. We broadcast live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Baku's on JRPG. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty all right. It's been a minute since I saw you. Where
I
were
know.
you last week? Where were you last week,
Uh,
Baku?
I was enjoying the Golden Week, even though it's not a American holiday. I was just trying to pretend that I get that
Oh
week
yeah,
off.
exactly. That's what we do here. We fully immerse ourselves in Japanese and weeb culture and method acting. We can't be in
Mhm.
Japan in person, so we're there in spirit. But
That's right.
legitimately we did take off last week because of Golden Week. There
Yeah.
wasn't really a whole lot going on in
Right.
the world of Japanese news anyway. And the stuff that we really cared about was kind of put on hold, but we are back and hopefully back to good old on schedule streams and everything.
Yes, sir. Yes. Until the next Golden Week.
Until the next Golden Week. When is the next
Until the
Golden
next Golden.
Week? Yeah, so
Probably not like Golden Week proper, but the next time we're gonna run into this kind of issue probably is gonna be towards the New Year,
mm.
where Japanese also have like a week-long vacation.
Oh
That's like
yeah.
their second large like vacation block.
Yeah,
But we'll also be enjoying our New Year, so who knows what we'll be doing
that's true.
for New Year.
I
Yeah.
was actually considering though maybe next time that there's just going to be like a really slow week instead of putting things on hiatus, doing something a little bit different. Like maybe not doing a podcast episode, but maybe still some sort of stream where we get together and maybe play some co-op games or something and just kind of do the basic YouTuber streamer thing.
Basic YouTuber streamer. Yeah, I'm down to be a basic YouTuber streamer.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds like a thing that I aspire to do.
I mean, that sounds pretty fun. I mean, just
Yeah.
breaking away from the grind of the daily news and well, the weekly
Yeah.
news, I guess.
That news cycle. Yeah, that news cycle, man. It's exciting, but also very tedious. So,
For
but
sure.
hey, yeah. But
Uh
that's our job now. We're distilling all that tedious news gathering and fact checking and just wrapping it up in a neat bow and slapping Derek's face on it and presenting to you every Sunday.
hey,
Isn't that
and
nice?
and stuffing as many puns as we can into a 2 to
Please
two and a
don't.
half hour.
Let's not. No, none of our viewers enjoy the fun. I'm pretty sure. We should do a poll.
We should definitely do a poll. If you
Do
enjoy the
you like
puns,
Derek's polls?
leave one down below in the comments, and if you don't, then leave one down in the comments anyway as well, so we can adequately measure.
It's very scientific, you see.
Highly scientific. Yes.
Scientifically scientific. Yes.
So
All
Baku,
right.
we didn't end up streaming last week. So what did you end up doing last week? What? Yeah. What?
What did I actually end up doing last week?
Mm-hmm. That's
Well,
what were you
I
even doing with
was
yourself, man? God.
man, so trying to survive work because we haven't got enough sponsorship money here yet to stop working.
Uh.
Yeah, I know. But also, maybe on the content creation side, working on a charity what is it raid train that will actually start this Wednesday, so
Ooh.
everything's very abrupt. We were just putting everything together within like a 2 week span,
Mm-hmm.
with like maybe like 80, 90 people involved. Yeah.
Wow.
And growing, so it's crazy.
Sounds
um
like a lot of work and sounds really
yeah.
incredible.
Well,
To
they
find
they
out
made
more about it,
a yeah.
everybody from the stream here, if or listening after the fact, just to find out more about this charity, definitely follow Baku. I don't often say this. I mean, I guess we mention it at the end of every stream, but
Yeah.
honestly, go follow Baku on Twitch because he's a super cool dude, and
Thank you. Appreciate you.
he doesn't say this often enough about himself, but he's a very humble person, very down to earth,
I
very
don't know. That's the right word for me.
And everything that he actually, as of right now, everything that he's making through Twitch, through all of his subscriptions and bits and everything, he actually donates that to charity, a different charity every month.
Different
So
charity every month, yeah.
yeah.
Right now we're working with the Texas. This is not the rate train, but just on a side, we just finished with Next for Autism and also ASAN. The community was kind of split between the two.
Hmm.
But this coming month is going to be Texas suicide prevention because one of my mod asked me
Yeah,
to do that. So it's going to be pretty neat.
that's
But
perfect.
yeah, yeah, we'll talk more about it. But aside from that, I was trying to give my Twitch an overhaul, and that took some time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still working on that.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah,
my week was a little bit different. This week, actually, what one of the other reasons that we had took off this week was because I was gonna have to kind of split my attention. I had family coming into town from my parents from Pennsylvania. They came back to hold my grandmother's funeral because she unfortunately passed away last year.
yeah.
And it was in the middle of COVID, and there was no way we could do a funeral. So we ended up holding that service on Tuesday. Um, in the middle of things, unfortunately, also turns out my dad got COVID as well. Luckily, so far, knock on wood, he's asymptomatic. So, but it's just one of those things, like a whirlwind of just craziness and high tension emotions and stuff. So, finally, though, I think the week is about to get back to normal, and I'm just looking forward to being back to normal. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. Yeah, sorry about all the things happened, but I'm hoping that things are going to get better for you moving forward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm thinking things are probably pretty calm at this point. So, knock
Yeah.
on wood, knock on wood. So,
Well, we want
oh yeah,
more than just calm. We want like good things to happen. So like now
it's
that you've
true.
gone through that, it's gonna be uphill. Things are gonna get good from
Yeah.
here.
Well,
Yes.
hey, so what do you want to take a look at a comment or two that we got from well, not last week, but from the previous episode of Hit Point?
A week before, yes. We've got a comment from Ian who said, "It's funny how Square Enix so often simultaneously commits the worst sins of AAA game publishers, along with some of the best consumer-friendly practices. Example: Octopath Traveler: Triangle Strategy having free playable demos to collect feedback and releasing
Hmm.
completed games." Versus Final Fantasy 15 having a large chunk of content missing, sell us a DLCs later. I cannot agree with you more, Ian. Thank you so much for the comment there. Yeah, it's I just recall, Derek saying, well, he made a good point, which is, hey, Square Enix is one entity, but it's one like behemoth of a
Hmm.
organism, right? And
Yeah.
you've got all these subdivisions, literally divisions.
Well,
And I like,
apparently,
yeah.
I actually got a correction. Apparently, that the divisions are old news, and they've got at this point like several other
Oh,
kinds of they've restructured, I guess.
they restructured.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's news to me. But I have to,
Oh, yeah, that's news to me too.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
But
but regardless, you still got different teams who
yeah.
handles their own sort of like game development, and so even though it's Square Enix and there are leaderships involved, each groups are more or less autonomous in how they reach out to players and develop their content. Like the directors and producers have that autonomy.
Hmm.
um you know Granted, there are guidance from above, and that's why you see these large discrepancies between how they deal with player feedback and what have you. So
Yep. And I think that part of it might also have to do with the scale of the budgets involved here, because like
yeah.
with with these gigantic games like Final Fantasy 15, and
Hmm.
the larger overarching things, like I feel like it's kind of ironic how they're almost, because of the pressures from above, that this must be good, this must come out in order to hit our earnings. This is so like the big ones are so important for like hitting the milestones for shareholders and stuff, that like that's what probably causes those larger things to be a little less consumer friendly, as opposed to the smaller projects, the not
Hmm.
quite indie, but the more like, small budget where it doesn't have to succeed necessarily. Like they can, you get to a certain point, a project size becomes so big that it
Yeah.
must, once it hits that AAA mark, it must be
Mhm.
a success. Otherwise, it's a huge, Babylon's Fall, if you will. So
It's only a single A project, not a triple
exactly.
A
Hmm.
project. By the way, really quickly, just want to say hello to all the folks who are coming in right now, watching us relatively early and on time. I see you there, Cheska. Cheska said hi, Derek and Baku. Hello to you too.
Yo,
Yeah, but yeah, so it doesn't look like we got any new voicemails, right? No voicemails?
that's right.
No
So
voice.
far, we didn't get any
No
voicemails
voicemails.
this week, unfortunately. So if you want
Two.
to have your
What?
voicemail read on or listened to, you can do so by leaving us a voicemail at 785-337-3805. Or if you would like, you can also email us at you can email us a file, a voice file at hitpoint@superderekrpgs.com.
That's right. There are now two ways. You can call the number or you can email for international viewers. Also, before we move on, just real quick, we do read super chats towards the end of the episode. So if you've got super chats, you got some burning questions for Derek and myself, please go ahead and use that super chat and we'll absolutely read it and answer you towards the end of the episode.
That's right.
All right.
So let's talk
Yeah.
about some stuff that's been going on so far. Hey,
Yes, yes,
let's
yes,
get to
yes.
the
Okay,
news.
so we'll start with talking about some things to past releases, some updates to past releases. The Pokemon Company just announced that it's going to bring the 2.0 update to Pokemon Home. For those who don't know what Pokemon Home is, it's the application in which you can interface with a Nintendo server to store your Pokemons and then transfer them between games. So the 2.0 version will support Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and as well as Pokemon Shining Pearl. That lets fans deposit and withdraws Pokemons from these titles onto the server, and also be able to transfer certain Pokemon between Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, Sword and Shield, and the aforementioned games. So, pretty neat stuff. That's sort of like the functionality that a lot of fans have been asking about. When can I start transferring Pokemon between games? Now that function will come soon. Now, it's a whole bunch of updates and little nuances that we just really don't have time to cover in full. So the link for the full announcement is listed down below in the description. So if that's something that you're really interested in, definitely take a look to see what Pokemon's got for you. I know that there are some bonus gifts or Pokemons that you can get through mysterious gift or mystery gift
Oh yeah, yep.
by depositing from certain games. But again, it's just a lot. It's like numerous information. Just definitely check it out in the link if that's something that interests you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. We also got this update from 13 Sentinels. Why did I choose to say this one? Aegis,
Aegis.
Aegis,
Aegis. Yes.
Aegis Rim.
Yes.
So 13
It's not even a
Sentinels.
Japanese word. That's not even a Japanese word,
I know
sir.
if it were a Japanese word, I would know what the vowels sound like.
Right?
I mean, because anyways, so 13
Mhm.
Sentinels Aegis Rim on PS4 is getting an update that adds new content from the Switch version of the game, and that's coming on August 4th of this
Mhm.
year, or yeah, of this year.
Yes.
It's coming to Japan. Now, this update
Yes.
will add two weapons to each protagonist.
Mhm.
Although this announcement is only for Japan, I mean, it makes a lot of sense that this would also come to the West. I mean, if they're
Yeah.
doing all the work anyway, may as well, right? So,
Yeah. I don't see why they wouldn't. So that's just a small update that we want to make sure that you are aware of. I still haven't gotten to play that game yet, but all of the maybe all the Twitch friends who've played this game are just nothing but praises for
yeah.
13 Sentinels. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I've never heard a bad thing about 13 Sentinels. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but it's just one of those games. It's like, it seems like one of those things like, yeah, I'll probably play that someday. And then it never happens. I feel kind of bad
Yeah.
about that, but
It's
well,
it's not in my forever backlog.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm still trying to slot that into my rotation at some point, but we'll see when that happens, especially with all these games coming, which we'll talk about.
Now, somebody in the comments says that somebody that they're used to hearing it as Aegis, and that's actually the other thing.
Aegis?
Yep, I
Hmm.
just Aegis, and that I think
Aegis.
that yeah. So I've definitely done like a how to pronounce Aegis before,
Hmm.
and it's just one of those weird words, but uh
Yeah, where
whatever.
did this word even come from?
I
Is
wonder
it
if
like,
they say it out loud in the game.
well, I've heard it said out loud in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where the one of the main characters known as the Aegis. Right. So that's why I'm just like, hmm. But of course, they're also tomato, so right. I
Sure.
don't think that there could be multiple correct pronunciations.
I
That's the
gotcha.
thing. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Let's talk about some upcoming releases. They would have been upcoming for last show, but since we didn't talk about it, it's upcoming releases. They've been released.
A little bit of catch up,
Um,
I guess. Yeah.
a little bit of catch up, yeah. So let's talk about this new game called Salt and Sacrifice. If that name sounds familiar to you, it is the sequel to the hit indies Salt and Sanctuary.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah, you've heard
Okay.
of that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So from developed by Scott Studios, this game has been long thought as the 2D Dark Souls by many fans. This new installment takes it to the next level by implementing many fan feedback. If brutal, fast-paced action RPGs you think, this game might be right up your alley.
Hmm.
The game was released May 10th for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 and the PC. Want to take a quick look at this?
Yeah, let's do that.
Do it.
Inquisitors come to the Veil to seek purpose in their path.
Took a second, but I got there.
Purpose
Yeah, it's got that same kind of
in the shroud
paper doll look to it, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Higher quality, I think, than
righteous.
some of the worst examples I've seen.
It's almost like an indies thing. I don't know.
Well, I associate it more with mobile, but yeah. I mean, this obviously looks way better than some of those out there.
Help your fellow marked inquisitors.
Ooh.
Whichever path you choose, to whichever factions you swear fealty, remember why you are here. All mages must die.
Mage Devoured.
Mage
No, that's
Devoured,
interesting.
yes. So in this world, there are these like mages who is like twisted against humanity. So that's why you're fighting all these mages.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my understanding. I've never played a game before, but I did a little research just for this piece. Yeah, so yeah, I do definitely see the paper doll s thing that we were talking about that we don't particularly like. I don't particularly like it either, but hey, if the gameplay works out and you don't mind it,
Yeah,
and it's certainly
there are
popular.
games that I can definitely overlook it for it. You know, I mean, we're gonna talk about one of those in just a moment or two,
Yeah.
but yeah, this one, it looks pretty okay. I think, you know,
Mhm.
I think I think I've been able to a little bit better to articulate what it is about it that I kind of dislike
Do
about that
tell. Do
style,
tell.
and that's mostly that when done poorly, it looks cheap as opposed to like pixel art when done poorly it just looks older. Like pixel art is hard
Right.
to, I mean, you can do pixel art really well, but
Mhm.
when you go like too basic on pixel art, it just looks like more NES or Atari
Mhm. Right.
than like Super Nintendo, like, right?
Yeah,
Like,
this yeah.
so I think that's what it is. I
Mhm.
probably prefer the pixel art in general just because it's harder to do poorly, and I don't know, part of my brain is just like acknowledges like, oh yeah, that's what that's supposed to look like. Sure, that's authentic, whatever.
Yeah,
But then with the
yeah.
paper doll, when done poorly, like, yeah, it just looks cheap, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
feel like that. But anyways, this does not. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
because this looks poorly done, but just in
I
general,
think poorly done pixel art is like an aesthetics on its own. You
it
know,
kind of is. Yeah, it's called SuperDerek pixel art. You ever seen?
this is not bad pixel art. You just don't understand. What do you know about art? Just give a
Exactly.
very pretentious response. Now, before we move on, we do want to report that you may see a huge jump somewhere to the level of like 200% increase in prices in certain regions for this particular game.
No.
That's actually due to Sony having to increase the price in those regions. Now, I looked into it. I was trying to see why the heck is Sony upping the price?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Sony has set the price too low to begin with. And once it discovered that Epic Store prices were higher or in some cases lower,
Yeah.
they had to match it per agreement. So don't get mad at Sony. This is just an obligation, according to the developer who had clarified. This
Mhm.
is just an obligation that Sony has to do to match prices in all regions, maybe for a certain amount of time before they get allowed to start doing sales, at least. But yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the reason why you may see like, oh, this game was $5 and now it's like $30. What happened? No, I
That
don't think any of the jump was quite that bad, but
okay. I was gonna say that's quite a jump.
no,
That's
I think it was
quite
like
an oversight.
200%. Maybe like $5 to like $10. I don't know, like something like
Okay,
that. It
that
was
that
like
sounds more
double the
reasonable.
price.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good to know.
Yeah,
Appreciate the
good to know.
heads up on that. So if you want to
Yeah,
catch
yeah, yeah.
that game before the price hikes up, do so on a Sony platform, I guess. Get while
Oh
the
no,
getting's good. Oh,
it's already
never
done.
mind. Never mind. You missed the
Remember,
boat.
we're catching up right now.
That's right. You missed the boat.
Yes, you missed the boat. Okay.
All right. Well, I'll talk about this next one here. We got Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, which, as previously reported, Eiyuden Chronicles Rising is this action RPG spin-off of or it's a prequel of the main game of Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, which is that
Mhm.
incredible looking Suikoden
No.
inspired by the creators of Suikoden. Oh man, that game's
Yeah.
looking great. I feel like this is Eiyuden Chronicle Rising is, I mean, they haven't said it as such, but it feels like kind of like a crowdfunding, maybe not crowdfunding, but a fundraising like side game, where they're maybe hoping to kind of pad out their budget a little bit more with some of the sales of this game, which is
Mhm,
a pretty inexpensive title actually. So,
mhm.
anyways,
Yeah.
in this game, you play as three characters: CJ, Garu, and Isha, who will eventually be part of your army in the 100 Heroes main game.
That's
So,
correct.
on the 10th of May, it released on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, Switch, and PC. So
Mhm.
basically, all major current platforms. And some backers who crowdfunded Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. Who crowdfunded Eiyuden Chronicle Rising?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So they crowdfunded.
That was a separate no, that's what I was
I
nodding to
didn't.
what
I
you were
didn't realize
saying.
that there
They
was a
had a
separate
second
crowdfund.
they had a second crowdfunding. Yeah.
Okay, so some of them have not received their code from the game as of yet. Unfortunately, developer Rabbit and Bear Studios have addressed this issue on the Kickstarting page. So if you're one of those backers who backed the game and have not gotten your code, head over there. There's a link in the description for you to find more information. So yeah, head over to the Yeti Yeti
Yeti?
Yetee
Yeti?
Yeti, probably
Yeah.
Yeti
Yeti.
page. Log in
Mhm.
and put in a help ticket, and they'll help you out. So,
They'll get back
uh,
to you soon.
but yeah, this is the game that actually kind of made me rethink my position on just the blanket statement of I don't like paper doll
Mhm,
aesthetics in my games.
mhm.
Because it at first it struck me as being a little weird, but when I saw the game in action, I'm like, okay, when it's in its fast movement, it's harder it looks better. So do you want to take
Mhm.
a look at it?
Yeah, yeah. This is the official launch trailer now.
All right, official launch trailer. Let's go.
Before the 100 heroes banded together, there was the story of 3. Dive into the world of Alron with CJ, Guru, and Isha in the all-new action RPG.
Yeah, so this definitely uses that same paper doll style, but I think that the view is zoomed out enough that it doesn't bug me nearly as much as it would.
Meet CJ, the youngest in a long line of scavengers who is seeking the ultimate treasure. Guru,
And the character designs are all
Got a
pretty
little
darn solid.
pouch.
Oh, he does have a pouch. That's pretty funny.
Isha, a gifted mage who is searching for the truth about her missing father. Together, they will explore.
You know the lighting effects on that?
Yeah.
Where it casts a shadow? That's pretty nice.
Actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. They definitely did some extra work here to make it above and beyond just
Yeah.
that.
And transform it into a
I mean,
prosperous
that looks
adventurous
amazing. I don't. It really does look good.
and collect
Yeah.
materials to
The
upgrade
background,
your
the just the art asset looks great.
For sure.
It might even carry over into Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes.
It might carry over. You
I'm
say.
guessing that there are some things that will and some things that will not carry over. But they don't want to go through that
Yeah.
exhaustive list in
We're not sure if it will, but
trailer.
if it does,
And fire.
yeah, I mean, well, also Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes isn't done yet, so there like some stuff might get cut between here and there also, right?
yeah.
You never know.
Characters to chain together devastating link attacks and obliterate your foes.
Oh, that looks pretty fun.
Will you live the tale of these 3 heroes and discover one of Alron's darkest secrets? Eiyuden Chronicle Rising.
Oh, so he said Eiyuden Chronicle. So that's interesting.
It looks good.
It does.
It's out now. So yeah, so I was reading about it. And it seems like backers will get this game for like $7. I'm a backer and I didn't know about that. I
I'm
mean,
also a
backers-
backer, and I
backers-
didn't know that either.
Yeah, backer of the 100 heroes can get it for $7. I'm just like, where? Because I kind of want it. I want to take advantage of that. Where am I getting this for $7? If you guys know, like, let me know. 'cause
Maybe
I
in the
haven't had time to
Discord.
look into.
If I had to guess, probably in the
Maybe- yeah,
Discord,
oh, you
because
know
they've got a
what?
Discord,
Yeah.
and it's just so busy that I've actually muted it, and I haven't been there.
Wow, I completely forgot that the Discord's even a thing.
Because they got
'Cause
that backers got that extra roll, right? And
Yeah.
and I've got it, I think, but I just haven't.
I'm
Yeah.
like backer 3,000 something out of 40,000. So, I'm like maybe one of the earlier ones, or earlier as in like the first like 5,000 people. But like,
Yeah. As soon as I
yeah,
heard about it, I made a video about it, and then I went and backed it.
and you went back that, yeah.
Yep.
I think I watched a video and then I went. That was a little late.
Man.
But that's what I saw when I was researching this. It was like, oh yeah, backer, you can get it for $7, and then if you're not a backer, you get it for like the full price, yada yada. I actually don't know how much this game even costs, but I don't think it's an expensive.
I think it's
title.
like $15.
Yeah, it's like not that much. So so I'm expecting like a short and sweet title
Mhm.
just to raise some additional funding. I honestly think they are raising additional funding for this.
Yeah.
But the art looks great. If this art carries over to 100 Heroes, I have high hopes.
I mean, they've already been like, for the longest time, been drip feeding us like character designs and stuff with like little updates here and there.
know.
And each one, I'm just like, that looks really cool. I bet that's a really cool story. That dude looks awesome. I'm going to have him in the party. Like just like I'm already making plans. Speaking
Yeah,
of
it's
stories,
Yeah, is that going to be the best game ever or the biggest upset? And I am too scared to think about it right now.
I know there's a lot going for it. The fact though that it's actually got like the original designers behind it, like working on it, the original people behind Suikoden. Yeah, That's all it takes for me. I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it. Okay, so let's talk about the next game that Square Enix silently dropped. This live action mystery adventure game. The last time they did a live action game was a complete, and I mean complete flop. Do you remember the last time Square Enix did a live action game?
A live action game.
Yeah.
Gosh, no.
Don't even remember it being
When? Give me a timeline. When? What year?
PS4.
Play what?
Yes.
No,
So I'm like, you don't remember this.
I
You're like
don't.
Super Nintendo. I'm like, no, PS4.
My gosh. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking like, was it on Sega CD or something? No.
Nope,
No.
PS4.
Okay. What we got here?
Yeah. So I think, hold on, I got to double check because the game is so poorly that it's actually hard to find. I think it's called The Silent Man. Was the
That wasn't live
last
action, was it?
that was live action.
That
Well, at least like I mean, there are live action elements. Like they film like they dressed up the character.
where it was like I
as,
remember
like, the
the I
main
remember
character.
the silent the quiet man, the silent man, whatever the
The Quiet Man, the Silent Man, the
something.
Quiet Man, the Quiet Man, the Quiet Man. Yeah, well, they'll have like live action like video portion, and then it'll like try to seamlessly transition into like a 3D like
Oh,
model fighting segment, and
yeah.
then they'll
Okay.
transition it back out. But like
I didn't realize
the
that. I guess
transition was so bad that like no one was fooled
no one
that
bought
this is
it.
somehow like yeah, and it was just a weird little thing that Square Enix did. That I'm just like, why did you do this? I was so sure that they were going to release like a new Parasite Eve because it was like, oh, it's a new place that takes place in like New York City, or at least it looks like New York City. So I'm just like, oh, Parasite Eve, and it was like, no, the Quiet Man. I was like, what
Yeah.
the heck is this? Why?
It looked
This
like a
budget could be used for literally anything else.
it to me it looked like not an RPG. So as soon as they showed, anything about it, it's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. I
Shuffled
mean,
that
but
away
like I
to
said,
like a
I saw
different
New York.
category of things I didn't care about.
Yeah. No, I just saw New York and I was just like, Parasite, 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 Parasite.
Uh,
Ugh.
okay,
Mm.
so this one's
Anyways,
called
yes,
though the Centennial Case, a
that's right.
Shijima story, right?
Shijima story, yes. And so they've dropped this little gem in this game, which already has seen actually very positive reviews because again the game is already released.
Hmm.
It surrounds the Shijima family who suffer a chain of inexplicable deaths over the past century. The player will play as Haruka Kagami, a mystery novelist who will take on four different murder cases across a different periods of time.
That
And
actually
this,
sounds pretty dang intriguing, to be honest.
yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
I mean, I might.
Want to take a quick
Yeah,
look at this? Yeah,
yeah. Let's see if the trailer can dissuade my interest here.
it's definitely a live action, so get your expectation ready for that.
It's been a long
ミス
time
テリ
since
ー
I
には
played an
謎があり
FMV title.
謎を解く手がかりも必ずある私はこの頭の中の思考空間で謎と手がかりをパズルのように組み合わせ仮説を導き出し論理の道をつなげていく
Live action mystery adventure game, The Centennial Case, a Shijima story.
Interesting.
A family who have suffered a chain of inexplicable deaths over the span of a century, the Shijima family. Mystery writer Haruka Kagami pursues the truth behind four mysterious murder cases. Transcend time and relive past murders.
I mean, it looks
In
nicely
search of
shot.
the fruit of youth, the Scarlet
Yeah.
Camellia has committed murders that span a century. What is their true identity? Stories from the past come to life with a multi-role system, where each cast member plays multiple characters. The victim in one case may end up being the culprit in another.
Interesting.
The first
Yeah.
case takes place 100 years ago, in 1922. The player first sees the entire murder as it unfolds with their own eyes. of the clues needed to unravel the mystery can be found somewhere in the video itself.
So it's kind of like Clue in a
Yes.
way.
And you can check
Yes.
clues and information on the characters
Speaking of clues,
in real time.
Huh.
Use the clues you have gathered to come up with a hypothesis in the cognitive space. Which hypothesis
Part
is
of
the
me
truth?
really
Left for the
wishes
player
that
to
this
decide.
was animated
But some
instead,
hypotheses may lead your deduction down the wrong path.
but
Select the correct hypothesis to
Oh,
track
well.
down the killer. Build together a connected path of logic and identify the killer.
what does the gameplay look
Make
like
the wrong
though?
decision, and a bad ending will await you.
you can't get bad endings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Accuse the wrong
Haruka, the
person, I
main
guess.
character,
Maybe
is an up-and-coming
inadvertently.
mystery writer. Sharp and perceptive, she excels at solving mysteries, as well as creating them.
その時軸と白骨死体にどんな関係があるんですか？
Eiji Shijima is the other main character. The second son of the Shijima family, he plays a vital role in this tale.
I don't know. It
These two will work together to confront a 100-year-old mystery. Uncover the
is,
truth.
you know what this kind of reminds me of
Yeah.
is back in the day,
4 murder cases.
there were videos that I used to watch on Discovery Channel or TLC talking about like the future of cinema and like how audience
Solve
members
the
would
mystery
like
behind death
choose
and find the
their own
answer.
adventure essentially.
Yeah.
But this was like back in the 90s and like it didn't look fun at all. And now we're seeing it like here and it's like, okay, did they figure out a way to make this like good?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like, I think this is one of those experimental games that I actually do support
The
from
Centennial
Square
Case,
Enix.
a Shijima story.
I mean, they're definitely
Like-
doing something different here and I
Order the game
appreciate that.
today. Get the early purchase bonus, a mini soundtrack
You
containing
know,
12 songs
I
produced
feel
by
like,
the
you know,
band.
you can't always make the same game, and a little bit of experimentation, a little
Mhm.
avant-garde, you know, might not be a bad thing to kind of see what could shape, you know, the future of gaming. But I don't know if that's it, but I mean, hey, experiment, play around. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, some of these game mechanics, you can imagine that, like, hey, if it works well, if it's well received, they can implement that into an RPG. You know, like imagine like a RPG that has like mystery like elements, right? And you can try to solve cases similar to this.
that would be
Um,
so
yeah,
awesome. I love
yeah,
whodunits, and
yeah,
whenever you can
right.
incorporate that into something else that I love, like like Persona 4, for instance, had a very much of a kind of detective kind of vibe
Mhm.
to it, a whodunit kind of vibe. Though it didn't really affect the outcome of the game. But like if you
Yeah,
could, God, could you imagine like a
yeah,
Persona 4 with branching paths, like truly
hmm
branching?
yeah.
That'd be nuts.
I mean, I think the other thing is what is it called? You know, you were talking about like, oh, the future cinema. I mean, didn't Netflix do something similar to that with what is it? Banderdash?
Maybe.
Have you
I don't
heard of
know.
that one? I think it was it Netflix or is it? I think it was Netflix. Well, it was this one long running sci-fi series and they did a experimental kind of thing where like you know as the story progressed you can pick different choices and then they'll play like a different video, they're like branching paths
Hmm.
and you can try to get different endings. It's like that's the closest thing that I can think of as like playing the game. You don't do any like deduction or whatever, but you get to pick. It's like choose your own adventure like video, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was called Banderdash. I can't remember. It was like a couple years back. But I mean, hey, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it for you because it sounds like that might be something you're interested in.
Hmm.
Just can't remember what that show was called. Maybe I'll look it up. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, we can take a look at it
Yeah,
later.
yeah. All right, let's move on to that next thing. Oh, finally,
All
finally.
right. Well, before hang on a sec. Before we can really talk about this one, I need to
Yes,
prepare.
please.
I need to make
That
preparations.
prop ready. Yeah,
Yeah, hang
he
on.
needs to put a prop. Yeah.
Just a moment.
Yeah, it was actually absolutely. That was how to do it. It was absolutely interactive TV. I could have sworn it was called Benedict. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Okay, go.
Okay, go.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
Black
ready.
Mirror. It was Black Mirror.
Oh, okay, that's cool. But no.
Black
I mean,
Mirror.
we can talk about the next item now that I've got my requisite goggles on.
Yes. Your requisite goggles.
Where you
Uh,
have your goggles too, right, Baku?
what goggles? I'm not a main
Baku,
character.
you and me, I'm the only one who went and got goggles for this? Baku.
You're falling for trap card activate. Yes, so Digimon Survive, finally some footage showcased in the Korea's RudyCon in 2022. So they didn't release like an actual video showcasing these gameplay, but they did release this in this convention, which is like one of the largest gaming convention in Korea that I've actually quite honestly never heard of. But I'm learning about it for the first time. So you want to take a look at some gameplay. So I've skipped to like 142 seconds. So it's like somewhere in the middle. Because like the first part is just a dude talking, and I don't think you care about it.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
so like 140, because like for some reason it wouldn't let me skip ahead.
No, do you want me to do it? Yeah, I
Nope.
got it.
Nope.
Oh, you got it? Okay, yeah, you got it.
All right, I got it.
Got it.
Well, I'll
Please
switch to it in
see this new gameplay footage. Yes,
Here we go.
okay. Yes. RudyCon. Also, this is in Korean.
Yeah.
The writing. Yeah.
I mean,
like,
I
I
can
can't even read this for you.
I can tell it's in Korean. You can, because it's got the circles.
It's got the circles. Yeah. So I think this is kind of like the choice, like making section. Because remember this game, like you can make choices and your choice matters. I think that was,
Yeah.
like, a choice making. And now here's like the tactical.
Oh, hey, you
section.
know, that
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good actually. That looks really good. So it's like the grid is within
Feels-
the confines of a room, like a
So,
single
yeah.
schoolroom.
In this one at least. In this
Yeah,
stage.
yeah. So there's like little.
Back attack. Yeah.
I see that there's little obstacles in the room, like
Mhm.
detritus in the area, debris, holes in
There's
the
strengths
floor.
and weaknesses, side attack. So back attack and side attack gives you higher damage.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Very atmospheric. Definitely has
They
got
say
that
it's gonna be a
horror
dark
vibe
game.
going on.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
The Digivolution.
Oh,
Oh man.
he evolved into a Cubone.
우리는 깨닫지 못하고 있었다.
That looks pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Isn't that
so
cool?
this one has it says a release date of August 28th, 2022 there in the trailer.
August.
Or no, it's not August, July. I'm bad
Yes.
with numbers and dates.
It's the Korean. It's the Korean.
Yeah,
The
it's all the
numbers, yeah, this
circles that
didn't
threw
make
me
sense
off.
to you. Yeah.
It's the extra circles made it look like an 8.
Oh my god. No, the date has not been changed. It is July 28th. Actually July 28th or 29th. I forgot. I think like Europe and US dates are a little different. It was like off by a day or something to that effect. I just can't remember. I think the date's a little wonky, but it's gonna be like 28, 29. So
Yeah.
you're only off by like a day. So here's the question. Does seeing the actual gameplay makes you want to play this game more or less?
Actually more, because now I can actually see what it looks like, and I think that looks like they've done a pretty good job of. I'm intrigued by the idea of having a strategy RPG take place in the interior. For some
Mhm.
reason, I have it in my head where like a lot of like large scale combat takes place in like large outdoor areas and like
Like a field.
fields and rough terrain, like
Mhm.
mountains, and like trying to like the obstacles are larger scale, like cliff faces and stuff, as opposed to like fallen debris and stuff. So this is interesting. It's a twist
Yeah.
on that I haven't seen, but I'm also not really a big into tactics RPGs. So
Mhm.
I mean, that might be just because I haven't had a whole lot of exposure to them. So I don't know if
Makes
that's actually
sense.
true or not.
Makes
But
sense.
I think it looks pretty good. How about yourself?
Seeing it now makes me want to play it more because I see the different skills and like intricacy in the system. Like there's like strength weaknesses and different precisional advantages. And so like, in my mind, you've got these tactical RPGs that are basically just like walk up and hit and like, there's no real depth to gameplay, but it seems like there's actually a good amount of depth to gameplay,
Hmm.
which hopefully also means very balanced gameplay. So I'm really looking forward to what that actually translates to once we can get our hands on it and test this thing out. The motion, the movement looks very fluid. So that's the other thing that bothers me sometimes when like the attack animation just looks very choppy and just like yeah,
Yeah.
but it looks really good so far. Yeah, and this is coming from a non fan, so I just like tactical RPGs, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I've never been more interested in a Digimon game than now. Like Digimon
Mhm.
has just been one of those things. It's like I've seen it, like I don't know.
Yeah,
This one,
yeah,
I'm definitely I'm definitely interested now for sure.
yeah.
So
Especially with the darker undertone too, right?
yeah, I feel
Like,
like that's a big part of it. Like I can get into it maybe because it's like the dark Marvel universe of Digimon games. It's you know
yes,
or I
yes.
guess the DC Dark Universe or whatever. That's what they
Mhm.
called it, right?
I don't
It doesn't
remember.
matter. It's the
Yeah,
edge. It's the edgy one.
it's
Now
the edgy one.
I can play it now and not feel like I'm 12 watching like
Yeah, I just hope they
Yu-Gi-Oh and
don't get
stuff.
dark for darkness sake. Like I really do hope that they explore more adult themes and choices. Like well, I want to say adult theme, more mature themes and
Sure,
choices.
they get a little
And not just
nuanced with it, right?
yeah, more nuance.
Not
Yeah.
just edge
Ooh,
for the
look at
sake of
how
oh.
dark this is. Like
I mean,
yeah.
does like Death End Request, does that like fit that bill to you, like where it would
Death End
explore the
Request.
yeah?
Oh, Death End
Or is that just
Request.
edgy for edgy's sake? Dark
I
for
don't think
darkness
Death End
sake?
Request was edgy, actually. Like the deaths were grim and dark, but the theme that they explore, there wasn't a crazy theme involved. More so just like a very well written story
Mhm.
that necessitated these dark moments more
Mhm.
so.
There was
Yeah.
another
Uh,
game that you played recently where you would explore different like good and bad endings, and I can't remember, or like it involved
that
time hopping, as I recall.
I'm
Yeah,
oh,
he was a
the world ends with
detective.
you.
No, no,
Oh
no.
no,
The detective
detective.
guy, the girl who got well, I don't want to spoil anything. It was pretty recent, within like the last few months. You played a game where you would like go back and forth between timelines in order to solve a
Oh.
mystery, and some people get murdered.
Oh my god, I'm really trying to think of what that game is now. Like,
You
what
do you know which
did
one
I
I'm talking
play?
about? Or
No, I do
all right,
not
well,
remember.
I'm not gonna continue to play video game charades with you, especially when I can't
I can't,
spoil
I
it.
can't, I can't remember what I played in the past couple games. Oh no, this is OHK.
It's the earliest stages of Alzheimer's,
Oh
man. I'm just saying,
no, I really can't remember the games I played recently.
we'll talk about it a little bit later on.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Um, Now, I've got a question for all of you in chat right now. And hey, if you want to, let us know. Since these games already come out, I'm sure some of you guys have already played these games. Please let us know what you thought of the games that we talked about, specifically Salt and Sacrifice, Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, and also if you've happened to pick up the Centennial case, Shijima story. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you thought of it. All right.
All right, check out the DM I sent you on Discord.
Oh, that game. Oh, hey, yeah. Now I know because I was thinking about an RPG.
No,
So I
no,
was
no,
just like, an RPG with time travel? Like what?
no, no, no.
Oh, it wasn't an RPG. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know what game you're talking about. There is a new game coming in June. The sequel is coming in June. We'll
So what
talk
was it
about it.
called? I can't remember what it's called.
It's called the game is called I the Somnium Files.
Yeah. So was
I the
that
Somnium
dark
Files.
for darkness sake? Was that
Oh,
edgy for edgy's
it's
sake?
it is an amazingly written story. It's so good.
Okay.
It's
So
so good. Yeah.
basically it can be super edgy as long as it tells a good story in the process.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
because it was a requirement to tell that story
Yeah.
versus like, look at how dark this is.
Yeah.
Did you feel like this is dark yet? Just really like heavy-handed,
Uh-huh.
but it serves no actual purpose in storytelling or the experience thereof.
Was there a
Uh,
game that you felt that you played recently that was dark for just the sake of being dark and gruesome without like any real sort of like payout?
I can't think of any like game examples, but
Mhm.
like imagine like a Saw like
Oh, yeah, like
kind of
just
movie where it's just like
torture
gruesome and
porn, but
dark,
in
but
video game
then like
form.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then like was
Like
there a reason you had to go there?
like
No,
the final destination of video games, sort of like just
kind
shock
of.
value. Yeah. I get what you're
Shadow
saying.
like
I don't
Shadow the Hedgehog just waving a gun around because yeah. Like, was there a reason
Yeah.
for that? No. But it's cool. I've
All
got a
right.
gun.
Okay. Well, let's move along then. I was just
Yeah.
curious because it seemed like you wanted to you were that's the second time you mentioned like you don't like it dark for just the sake of darkness. And I just wanted to see if there was another game that you could think of that kind of fulfilled that, but if not, then that's
Yeah,
fine.
not off the top of my head, but
Sure.
that got me thinking. Maybe that's my side quest. I'll think about that. Next time we talk about, I'll have an example for you.
Yeah. And if anybody here
Yeah.
has ever played a game that just felt like it was being edgy for the sake of edginess without actually conveying an interesting or unique story that necessitated it, let us know. I'm very curious to see if, because I know that like movies, obviously, because if you can do something that's just the shock value, and you
Mhm.
don't really have to like tell a great story. I mean, that's what slashers are basically all about, right?
Yeah,
It's never about like telling a great story. It's about the thriller aspect, I guess. But
basically,
I wonder
yeah.
if there's like a video game form of just like the slasher horror, just
Mhm.
gross out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Something to that effect. Something it doesn't even have to be like gruesome. It could just be like, like, ooh, it's so dark. This is so edgy. We're so cool. Like,
yeah,
are you? But anyways, uh, okay. Let's look into some new game announcements. So
yeah, that
these are
new
things that
stuff.
are not being released anytime soon, but they are coming and they're just like brand new announcements. So we've got a couple. First, it's called Sword of the Vagrant. And if it sounds familiar to you because this actually came out in 2018 on the Steam, and it was called The Vagrant, but now is being retitled as Sword of the Vagrant. So this indie 2D action RPG from OTK Games that has this beautiful vanillaware style aesthetics is coming to console this summer. The
Hmm.
game follows a traveling mercenary Vivian who is making her way through the mystical land of Mycetilia on a personal quest to uncover the whereabouts of her estranged family. It is going to come out in June 2022, and on PS4, 5, Xbox One, and also the Switch. The game is immediately available on the PC, if you don't feel like waiting for the console port.
Okay, let's check out the trailer for that then.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
looks
called
really good.
The Vagrant. Okay,
Sword,
or the
yeah,
Sword
it's
of the
called
Vagrant. Okay,
it's going to be retitled as Sword.
yeah. Okay, that looks good. Or at least the side run. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, it's a little gratuitous in some ways, I think. but it still looks nice.
Vanillaware.
I mean, yeah, okay. I think that one of the things that defines this as being higher value, than like just the standard paper doll style aesthetic that we've talked about before,
Look at that skill tree.
is that they do actually have additional frames of animation that they're also working with, as opposed to just one drawing that they're manipulating around. Like you can tell that they've drawn a few different poses and angles,
Yes.
and that's a big help, because like when she swings her sword, you can see her back facing the camera instead of just like, you know, someone swinging the sword like haha. Yeah, it looks very nice.
Yeah, body portion aside, the use of art, the use of colors, and just like the shadow and the aesthetics, like it looks really good. So yeah, so it is available on Steam right now. It will be retitled and launched on consoles during June. So if you're a fan of like Odin Sphere, which is a Vanillaware game, or look at what is called something Crown, which
Dragon's
is like
Crown?
Dragon's Crown, yeah.
Yep.
But it has that kind of like body proportion, if you will, but also
Well,
that
Dragon's
similar
Crown has
aesthetics,
a sort of a bad rep because, I mean, yeah, it has different body proportions, but only like not all of them are quite like that. Like the witch was proportioned like that.
The witch.
The barbarian had like a larger bottom half, and like they were all kind of proportioned, but in different ways. And not all of it was like super sexualized, I guess is what I would say.
And definitely not all Vanillaware games are like that too. Again, like 13 Sentinel, that's the Vanillaware game, and
Yeah, that was definitely
proportions
that was 100% a Dragon's Crown
that was
thing.
a Dragon's Crown kind of thing, yeah. But they're known to just like do all kinds of things. Like they don't care. If they think it looks good, they'll do it. So,
Yeah.
and that's part of the reason why they're well respected. They have different body portions for different characters, and they just do it because they think it looks good. You know,
Yeah.
they think it looks good.
So anyway, OTK
yeah.
definitely did a good job of emulating that Vanillaware style.
Yes.
Like it.
Yes.
If you told me this was a new game from Vanillaware, I would have said that. I mean, it probably looks very close to one. Knowing that it's not, I could look at that and be like, okay, yeah, it's not quite a vanilla, but they got very, very close.
Yes. I think it looks really good. So, again, you know, it's available if you want to play it right now on Steam. But if you want to wait for, you know, the console port because you don't have a, you know, working PC, just wait until June. Coming very soon. All right.
All right. So let's take a look at this next one here that was announced. Project Codename M.
That's right.
So Novect have announced this new mystery adventure game for the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. In this title, the player will play as both the murderer and the detective. So
that's very interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. I've never played a game of cat and mouse where I was simultaneously not simultaneous, but both the cat and the mouse. This is interesting.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how it plays out. But in this title, so in the detective parts of the game, where you'll play like a typical detective game, player moves around the map, investigates, and asks people questions, right? The murderer parts, the player becomes the murderer and plans and executes various crimes. So, well, that's very interesting, and
I know.
You want to see some of this in action? We can take a look at the trailer. All right.
Yeah. art thing on lockdown. I'm
Oh,
already
dude.
loving the art.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is
Very colorful.
very stylish. The music
The
totally works. Oh wow,
yeah,
that scene
yeah,
there, that looked
really good.
yeah.
Yeah, the setting is interesting. The premise is interesting, where you can like go between the detective and the murderer. I wonder how that's gonna play out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm very intrigued by those. Yeah.
So someone in chat says they don't remember Kira from Death Note being particularly sympathetic. I think though that he started off that way. He definitely got worse over time. But like he started off as like, killing the people who he thought like were obviously like murderers who were getting off scot-free, right? Like
Yes.
that was kind of how it all started. But then when he needed to start covering his trail, he started, doing the collateral damage. Anyways, I don't want to spoil Death Note for anybody who hasn't seen it because it's a fantastic show that you should watch, or read, or whatever. But but at least you got to do something initially to make it palatable to the viewer, to get invested, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Otherwise it probably to me would just feel like I was playing a smut game.
His characters definitely change from someone whom you can be like, if you could do it, wouldn't you do the same kind of deal? Where there are these bad guys who, through their power or fame or influence, get away from heinous crime. Wouldn't you want to bring them to justice? And then kind of putting you into his shoes, and then it just kind of like deviates from there, and I kind of like that.
Yeah. It shows just how power corrupts, right? So it's definitely a kind of like an interesting cautionary tale in some ways. Because I mean,
absolutely.
Well, anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm curious to see though where they kind of go with this. Yeah.
Yeah. More information to come. Heck, this game doesn't even have a name yet. It's just called Project Code Name M. Yeah. So when it's solidified, what is this called? Code Name M.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's exactly what they
strategy.
Exactly. Same with Octopath Traveler. Like, why do they call it Project? It's just drop the project. There you go. Codename M. There we go.
It's to give them some time to think of a better name, and then they couldn't think of it. I was like, we couldn't think of a better name. This is gonna be Codename M. Okay, done. Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is not Square Enix, so maybe there's a chance that it will be a different name later.
No, by this point, too many people are. That's the trick. That's the trap. Is that by this point, the game's already got some notoriety under the name Project Codename M. Even as of right now, that's what we have attached in our minds at this point. And the only thing they can really do to show, to capitalize on that and without like starting over, because people are going to be looking up information about Codename M, right? Is to drop the project. They're stuck with it now. That's
the project. Yeah.
Yep. That's just how it is. I mean, when you have a big brand and people are expecting the next thing to come out, like with Project Scarlet that turned into the new Xbox. Like everybody knew that, I want the new Xbox, right? And so you can afford to rename that Project Scarlet into something else. Yeah. But when you're an indie dev scraping for any sort of like eyeballs, you're stuck with it. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. That's it. You are now Project M.
So Derek's calling it now.
Codename M.
And Codename M. This game is going to be called Codename M. We'll see. Again, as we get more information on this game, we'll definitely be covering it because I'm very intrigued. Okay. So the next thing we got is a game that is actually already available also on Steam. It's a little known game called Little Witch Nobeta. Little Witch Nobeta is exiting Stream Early Access. Congratulations. It's like a graduation.
Wow. This is like one of the very few that ever enters early access and then leaves it.
Leaves early access. Yeah. Where's the last time you heard of a game leaving early access? That's amazing. So they're leaving early access, and they're also preparing to launch on PS4 and the Switch. And this is going to happen in September 29th of this year. The 3D action game has been constantly compared to Souls games in its difficulty, just a lot more adorable. You play as a little witch named Nobeta, who goes through these dungeons. It's literally like it's a super like kawaii like little witch game, but don't be deceived because it's really hard according to people who've played it. Now, for those who may be interested, there are 3 limited edition bundles, one for PlayStation 4, one for Switch, one for PC. All the bundles featuring 3 Hololive talents who had voiced 3 of the boss characters. The limited edition is Japanese only and currently available for pre-order in Play Asia. Now, the reason why I cover this at all, even though it is for Japan, is because this game is actually will have English, Japanese, and traditional Chinese subtitles. So for those of you who don't care for English voice acting, and quite frankly, I don't think this game will ever get English voice acting. It doesn't really matter because you're still getting that English subtitle. So for those who are interested in looking into the limited edition, again, it is available for pre-order in Play Asia. Otherwise, if you just want to play the game and just give it a go, it's already available on Steam.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we want to take a look at that trailer?
If you
Do we
want,
have one? Yeah, we have one trailer.
we
Yeah,
do. Yeah.
I'm kind
You
of
want?
curious. Yeah, I'll take a look at this.
Yeah, I skipped through it just because it was like super Japanese, but
I love it.
see, super cute Dark Souls. Oh, also, there's no gameplay in here.
Oh, there's no.
why-
Oh, there's no gameplay. Oh yeah, then this is gonna get DMCA'd. You sure there's no? Oh, okay. Well, okay.
They're game scenes, but they're no gameplay. If that makes sense.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll take
Like-
a quick. I won't play the whole thing then, but
I think this game actually started off as a passion project from one developer only.
really.
Like one person made all this. It got super popular. It got picked up by a developer, and then they start adding stuff to it.
You know,
Yeah.
does actually strike me as somewhat familiar. I think. Have we talked about this before? Something about this seems awfully familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like creepy Dark Souls, little witches. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I've seen this in motion before, like some early
Yeah,
access
yeah.
gameplay. I think it
So the
might
ga-
have gone viral at one point, like on Reddit or
Yeah,
something.
no, absolutely did. Because people keep saying that this is like the cute Dark Souls. They keep selling it as the cute Dark Souls.
Cute
so everyone
Souls.
kept playing it, and then
Yeah.
it got really popular.
All right. Well, since there's no gameplay, I think that'll do
Yeah,
it
there's
for
no
now.
gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I left it out.
But I'm glad
yeah.
I watched it because that definitely jogged my memory for the because she like fires like bolts of like magic and stuff at
magic,
because
yeah.
she's a witch. Yeah, that's so cool.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But again, if I remember correctly, it started off as like a passion project for a single person, put it on Steam, got traction, and then it just got picked up. They start adding new things.
Yeah.
Eventually, there's voice acting in it, and they've
It has
got
just
like
exploded from there after it got
Yeah,
a lot of
basically.
that interest from
And I guess that's what it takes to leave early access.
you know, just
that's what it takes.
a team of other people to help you in your project.
Yeah.
And I love that. I
Basi-
love that
yeah.
that it came to that. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's so
Mhm.
cool. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll talk about this next one a little bit here.
Okay, sure.
So, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak is recently announced at the recent digital event of Capcom's. They released a slew of information about this upcoming expansion. So one of the most notable additions to this one is the expansion is the ability to take NPCs on single player hunts known as follower quests, or in other areas of video games that they're introducing escort missions basically. everybody's
not.
everybody's
hope
favorite
not.
everybody's favorite.
God, I hope not. I hope it's not an escort mission. I hope it is just a they'll help you do some damage mission. Yeah.
So Capcom has revealed taking on single players along with you to give unique rewards, which is pretty interesting, I suppose.
Yeah.
Additionally, a new Sunrise themed Nintendo Switch Pro controller has also been revealed, and the design will be silver and feature the new flagship monster Malzeno.
I think that's how you
Malzeno?
pronounce it.
Ma-
Malzeno.
one or the other.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tomato.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll say it out loud when you're sent off to hunt it down or something.
To hunt it down. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just weird that like when I look at this, it's like becoming more and more like Pokemon. You know how Pokemon, they have like the legendary Pokemon, that's sort of like the symbol of like the game.
Uh-huh.
Now you've got a flagship monster instead of like a legendary Pokemon. That's like the symbol of the Sunbreak expansion. Yeah.
That's kind of neat, I guess. A way to sort of solidify the brand and let people know, like, here's the big thing that you're gonna care about now for a while.
Yeah. I mean, you see the
cool.
monster, you play the game, you know, oh yeah, that came from, you associate it with like a particular game or a particular expansion.
Mhm.
Yeah, so pretty cool. I've been meaning to pick up that the Monster Hunter Switch Pro controller before, and I missed the ship on that, so I might pick this one up because I like collecting limited edition like game like peripherals and game consoles. So like that's
I
probably
do
what I'm
also,
eyeballing.
but only for games that I like really, really love.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think I've talked about it before. It's just never caught my interest. I think we talked about this even in the last episode where,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't mean to continue beating the dead horse because I know lots of people love the game, but
Mhm.
I
Monster
do wish
Hunter?
that there were more options. Yeah, Monster Hunter. I
Mhm.
wish that there were more games that got these sort of like unique controllers and stuff because
Yeah.
like, dude, I would love a SMT5 Switch Pro controller or something like that to just sort of to
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
I
You
think
know,
the last
I would
time we
say it would
saw
be
something.
black and white, like the
Mhm.
Nahumino, and it'd have like
Yeah.
a really long flowing mane of hair, blue hair coming out the controller port.
Okay, Sonic controller. Yeah, okay. You can brush it, you can comb the hair, like
Yes, that's what I want. Oh my god, that's right. I forgot about the Sonic controller. I forgot about the Sonic controllers. By the
How do
way,
you
I
forget
saw that
about the
movie.
Sonic?
I saw the movie. It was
How
actually
was it?
it was good. It was
Yeah?
actually
Yeah?
it was half good. It was pretty good. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like two different movies, and one part
Right.
just felt completely gratuitous. Like the whole human element should have just been removed, legitimately. Like because it continued to like keep the cop and his new wife or whatever like kind of side thing, and they just cut back and
Mhm.
forth to that all the time as like kind of comic relief, which is kind of interesting that like the not cartoon characters would be the comic relief of the movie. But anyways, it was otherwise fine. It didn't dwell
Mhm.
on them, and that was for the better. Sonic 3 also
Mm.
was teased, and I'm not gonna tell you what they teased about Sonic 3,
Mhm.
but I'm just saying the next one's gonna come out guns blazing, I think.
Oh no. Oh no. Not again.
I don't know what you're
Not
talking
again.
about. I'm just saying I think they're gonna go hard.
Has Amy even been in the movie yet? Or no? Like have they
No.
Amy's not involved, right?
No. Right now
Yeah.
it's just the original trio, Sonic,
Is
Knuckles,
mhm.
and the other one.
Tails. Tails?
Yes.
Tails?
Yeah. Yeah. Tails miles per hour.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
he
Tails
was really
was not nearly as annoying in the movie as he is in the game.
that's unfortunate.
I mean, he was
Like
okay.
him being annoying is like the charm at this point, Like
Kinda. Yeah.
like I need you to be annoying. Um okay. So wow, okay. So I don't know if we can get DMCA for this. You decide if you want to watch this thing or not.
We're not
But
gonna watch the trailer, no, because
yeah,
last time
okay.
we did for a Netflix original, yeah, it got DMCA'd. So
Oof.
we're just gonna talk about it though.
Damn you, Netflix. Okay, so well, I will. We did leave the link down below, so if you want to watch it yourself, you can watch it later. But Netflix live action Resident Evil TV has its first trailer. About time because the show is set to air July 14th of this year on Netflix. The show is set 14 years after the outbreak, and it focuses on Jade Wesker, the daughter of the series villain Albert Wesker. So very interesting. I'm actually reading about this for the first time when I was doing the research on it. Like I knew they were doing a TV series, and I felt like, Resident Evil and is among the titles that I felt like would be good to be made into series, providing that they do it well. And so I'm actually pretty curious on Netflix take on this and whether or not this will ultimately be canon to the game series at large.
Good question.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited. The trailer looks pretty good. The production value looks pretty good.
Link
I
in the
and I don't even
description if
like
anybody wants to see it.
yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even like watching TV series or anything like that. People who knows me knows I'm not a fan. But this genuinely looks pretty good to me.
You
So if
know,
you guys are interested in Resident Evil, check that out.
I do have a certain soft spot for zombie flicks and stuff,
Mhm.
and zombie movies and TV shows. Certain kinds. Never really got into Walking Dead for whatever reason. I think it was just too dark for me, and I couldn't get into it.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but anyways, first Resident Evil movie was actually pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not
The
very
first
similar
movie
to the
was
games.
good, and then afterwards, it just got
It got weird.
weird.
It got
That's what I meant.
weird.
You know what? That's the thing. When I was saying, yeah, provided that they do it correctly, in my
Yeah.
mind, I was thinking about like the later movies that
Uh-huh.
didn't get done correctly. So it's like, I should hold back. Yeah. Another series that I thought would be perfect would be like Metal Gear Solid. Come on, Konami. Metal Gear Solid would be perfect
Dude,
for a movie.
it would have been so good. It's too late now to get the original Kurt Russell to be,
Yes.
because that would have
Yes.
been so good to have Kurt
I
Russell
know.
as Solid Snake, who
Yeah.
inspired initially Snake Plissken,
Yeah.
it's just super interesting.
Missed opportunity that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, his name was Snake Plissken in Escape from New York, in Escape from LA. And they named him Snake. And they named him
Mhm.
codename Pliskin in another title. So it's just really interesting. How did they not get sued? The original Metal Gear
Um,
game on NES was like a tracing basically of Kyle Reese's character from Terminator. Like, how did they not get sued? It's so crazy.
maybe they just didn't get
Video games just didn't
maybe
have that same spotlight on them back in the day, I think. That's probably legitimately it.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, no one thought back then, no one thought the game market would be as big as it is, nor did they think that, Metal Gear Solid would survive for that long.
Yeah.
I think that's just the reality of it. I mean, now the game market, dwarfs Hollywood.
It's
Like it
true.
used to be that it's only a fraction of like movie sales. No, nowadays games sells way more.
They
The
also
entire
cost
industry
way more.
worth way more. They also do cost more. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All
I'm gonna
righty.
talk about
So do
some
you
of
want
this
me to
yeah, let's
go into this? Oh, yeah. It's
here's
a lot.
here's the big headline, guys. This
Yeah.
is the one that we hinted at in the thumbnail and the title
Mhm.
and at the top of the up. Japan game companies are making that dollar.
Oh God, yeah. This is the reason why I was writing the docket basically up until like
Yeah.
it took a lot of time to read through all these documents. Okay, so let's talk about it. So Japanese companies are hitting record high profits according to their FY 2022 financial reports. Now, the reason why they're FY 2022, which is very confusing, but in Japan, FY 2022 actually ends in March 2022.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So their fiscal year 2022 already ended. Now we're in fiscal 2023, even though we're in calendar 2022. You catch all that? So far,
Yeah.
so good.
Okay,
Everyone
okay.
understood?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so now when we're talking about fiscal 2022, that's the year that has just ended. So these are the fiscal 2022 reports.
Sure.
So let's go through a couple of game giants, if you will, and talk about their sales and see what they attribute to those growth and what they plan on doing with their money. So
Mhm.
let's start with Square Enix because we all love talking about Square Enix. Oh boy.
Isn't it crazy how much of our lives revolve around them? Like, yeah. Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So, Square Enix review that their digital entertainment sales have seen a year-to-year rise, largely due to the success of Final Fantasy 14. We've talked about that, so
Mhm.
no surprises. Square Enix continues to emphasize that NFT and the play to earn concept will be its future. How this will actually play out is yet to be seen. We have seen no examples of what they exactly mean by NFT or play to earn. It's just a whole bunch of things that the president keeps spewing about, and now it's on their financial report, believe it or not. On a related note, Square Enix has announced, following the sales of Eidos Montreal, that it will establish or acquire new studios to focus on said NFT and blockchain efforts. Have they not heard that the NFT market tanked? Did they not get the memo?
Well, here's the thing. When you're printing them out of nothing, it doesn't matter how much they cost, as long as people are willing to pay for them, I guess. And who knows? They're probably
God.
not trying they're probably not trying to sell them for like, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, like some sort of tweet from, the founder of Twitter or something.
Jack
Dorsey.
Dorsey, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not. I mean, I don't feel like that's the and I don't want to put myself into the position of being like a Square Enix apologist here for their NFT stuff, but
Yeah.
the kinds of things that I am still somewhat optimistic about in the future of blockchain technology, like somewhat. At least I'm less cynical about it, I guess. Not optimistic.
Yeah.
I'm just open-minded about the possibility, the kinds of things that they're might be doing legitimately with it shouldn't hinge upon the market right now for like secondhand buying and selling. Like if they're going to be using it in a utilitarian way, then doesn't really matter what the market does, right? So I mean that's me again trying to just not be cynical, but whatever, grain of salt.
Yeah, I think the president, I keep forgetting his name, but the president did talk about like metaverse too, not the Facebook
Yeah,
metaverse,
yeah.
not the Facebook
But
metaverse,
just
but like a
the
Square Enix
conceptual,
metaverse.
the conceptual,
Yeah.
living in a digital reality metaverse, not specifically Meta's metaverse.
Not Meta's metaverse.
Hashtag not my metaverse.
Yeah, hashtag not sponsored by any of these companies.
Yeah.
To talk about them.
The full
You know,
disclosure, I have no crypto, nor do I have any NFTs.
I have crypto,
And I have
but
zero
they're not tied to
interest.
NFT. Yeah.
Oh wait, I do
have
have I
crypto.
actually I do have crypto, I guess, because I have it through Brave browser and through
Brave browser.
Yes, basically it replaces ads with like like it blocks ads, but then like people can like charge you can send crypto to people who you want to support manually through by watching their stuff. It's kind of interesting. But then besides that, there's also Odyssey, which is kind of like a YouTube competitor, but I mean it's not really a competitor, but it's an alternative that's also based on blockchain technology. So I do have some crypto based on that, but I don't like actively invest in it, is I guess what I meant to say.
I've stopped active. I made my money and then I just have crypto left over, and they've devalued like they've gone from they've gone like 2/3 and they've lost 2/3 in value already.
Time to buy the dip.
No, no.
No, I know.
Yeah, no. I bought into the hype and I made the money and I sold enough to cover and make a little extra. But that kept some in there. I'm like, well, in case it bounces up, and it never did. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. I already made my
Sure.
money, so I don't care. But yeah, so you'll see me trashing crypto and NFT all day because I no longer care. Okay, so that's Square Enix, and we will come back and talk about Square Enix later with a bit of an interesting news from our friend Naoki Yoshida, whom you guys may know as Yoshi P. We'll talk about him in just a second. But let's continue talking about different companies. So Capcom, another giant in the Japanese gaming industry, is reporting a 5-year record high net sales thanks to digital sales. Two IPs contributing majority of the sales are Resident Evil series and the Monster Hunter series, to
Yep.
surprise to nobody, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely, Capcom's absolutely dominating
I
in
mean, have
game
they
sales in the last
have
like
they
few
released
years.
anything else? That's the question.
They
I mean,
have, I
Street Fighter
feel
5 has,
like.
but that's just come out or is
Yeah,
coming out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they oh, Street Fighter 6 will come
6.
out.
That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
but
6.
I think they have released some things. I just can't remember because none of them caught my eyes. Because honestly, like Resident Evil is like the only IP that I have been playing
Mhm.
through Capcom. I don't play Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
But I mean there's Monster Hunter Story. That's like a traditional turn-based RPG. So for
Mhm.
anyone who's like, well, I don't want to play Monster Hunter because it's action or like it's gathering and crafting, I'm not into it. There is a turn-based Monster Hunter RPG, and that contributes to the sale.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. Monster Hunter Story, Monster
Yeah.
Hunter
Stories.
something. Yeah. So hey, if you guys just want like the Monster Hunter world feel without the the associated gameplay style, that's a turn-based RPG. Now, so they're talking about releasing multiple new titles within FY 2023. So this year they want to release multiple new titles. So some of the titles we already know about are like Exoprimal, Pragmata, which actually Pragmata looks really good. It's kind of like a horror, kind of like first person game. And also Street Fighter 6, which has been hinted at, and we're expecting to maybe see it this year. But they're basically saying that we're going to push out more IPs,
Yeah.
and brand new. So keep an eye out for Capcom because I think they're gonna come up with some exciting stuff this year.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Next we got Bandai Namco, our wonderful friend over, who makes the Tales series games. They saw a 48.2% rise in profit. That's nearly 50% compared
Mhm.
to last year. It's insane. I think they're the biggest winner. Net sales has gone up 20%, thanks largely to Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have heard of that game,
Little
which
bit.
has sold 13.4 million units as of the financial report. 13.4 millions.
That's a lot.
You know how we were talking about like, oh yeah, like there are a lot of game series. The lifetime sales is like 20 mil.
Mhm.
And if you can break 20 million, you're basically in the top 50 best selling games all time.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just kind of on track to being one of the best selling games of all time right now, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 13.4 million units, for surpassing the more uh conservative 4 millions unit estimation that they thought they would sell.
Ooh.
They thought they would only sell 4 million units in the financial report they wrote. And then I was like, yeah, but we end up selling 13.4 million units and growing.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
when you
oof,
become the
man.
internet's darling, I guess,
Yeah.
that's what happens. The game has essentially gone viral
Oh boy.
as far
Yeah.
as that goes, which is great for them.
Also, just taking a step back to Capcom, wouldn't it be nice if they bring Breath of Fire back?
Yeah.
Wouldn't,
Or
wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be
Onimusha.
nice? Onimusha? Anybody?
Yeah. Both?
But
Yes.
yes, both. Yes. But Bandai Namco, they're just raking it in. So I'm super happy for them. And I mean, obviously, in addition to Elden Ring, you've also got, what is that other? Got Nexus and what have you. So
Oh,
they've
yeah.
got a lot of good games coming.
Oh,
So
yeah.
good job, Bandai Namco. You had a great year. Even Konami recorded the most profitable year yet, believe it or not. And guess what? Guess what pushed Konami into profitability zone? Take a guess.
I mean, the obvious guess is pachinko, right? NFTs.
Well,
Was it them selling wait, they did recently
they
was it
did
within
make
the last
money selling NFT.
I'm
They
sure.
did.
And they also sold was it a micro console of the PC Engine? Is that right?
Did they?
I think it was
I don't
them.
remember.
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know if that was this year or fiscally or the year prior, but they also did that too, like PC Engine Mini. I don't know if that helped contribute, but what was
I
it
mean,
though?
they've definitely made profit off of selling NFT. That much is a fact. But it pales in comparison to the thing that actually pushed them to having, the highest record increase in 69.9%
Nice.
compared to the previous fiscal year. The main attribution is Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards.
What?
Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards and Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel.
What is Master Duel?
game?
That's a game?
Yeah, the game. That has 30 million downloads as of the report. Yeah. That's the game where you can play like digital, play basically Yu-Gi-Oh card digitally,
Okay.
with people. Yeah. So yeah, just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Like you would think that Konami makes games. Well, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh. I keep forgetting that they have Yu-Gi-Oh in their back pocket,
I guess
and they're
so.
raking it in with Yu-Gi-Oh.
I
Yeah.
guess.
I mean, good on them. I mean, they're Yu-Gi-Oh fans, so I'm not mad at them for
Yeah.
giving a product that people want. Just give us other things too, please. Konami, you see that games can still make you money. Come on.
I know. Except
Please.
what is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel? Is that a mobile game, or is that
I don't think so.
are there
Is it?
microtransactions?
I
How
feel
are they
like
making their money off of this? That's what I want to know.
I think it is a free. I think it's a free to play game where you have to like get like packs and whatnot.
So it's all kind of gotcha in a way.
Kind of gotcha, yeah. But I mean, trading cards is gotcha. So
It's-
I don't
it
know
is.
where do I draw the line? I mean, yeah, you can hold the card physically. There's that, but
What
it's
if
entering a
only
blur
if
line
only
for
those
me.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards were NFTs?
If only. Yeah, I mean, look, listen. See, here's the thing, right? That might actually be a good use of NFT because
I know. That's why I said
because-
it, and also I hate it.
Yeah, yeah, because if you, I mean, you can sell it to a different user
Mhm.
who is also playing on the platform, and once they move away from Master Duel onto a new platform, you can transfer that NFT because it's within the same ecosystem.
Like hypothetically, you could
Hypothetically.
if somebody else decided to make a Yu-Gi-Oh game that utilized the NFTs that were in somebody's like player wallet, like suppose this one went down, but somebody made a different one, a fan made one that just drew assets based off of the NFTs. Like essentially they could do that without technically breaking.
Wouldn't they just be sued off like
well,
planet of the earth?
Maybe, but if it's from the player's wallet, supplied by like it's not using their own code. Like they didn't, the programmers didn't code this themselves, right? Like it's interesting to think of. Like it kind of opens
I don't
things
think
up.
it'll ever be on a player wallet. I don't think they'll ever allow that
I
to
don't know.
happen. Like it just
Probably
wouldn't
not.
leave the system. Yeah, it'll just stay within their own system.
Maybe.
But yeah. But again, like if there's ever a good NFT use, like something like this could be it. But you would still be trading within their platform. It wouldn't be trading with
Well, that's the point of.
outside platform.
I mean, that would be the point of it being an NFT, though, is that it would be on some sort of chain where you could transact away from and sell the cards to other people and stuff.
Well, I mean, in this case, the only benefit would be that it's a decentralized database, so people can't just hack it and just take all your stuff. But again, just other than that, I don't see a whole lot of value in doing it.
I agree.
Just remember from our last podcast that we're not exactly fans of it. We're just trying to be optimistic.
We're trying to explore the possibility, but I don't know if it's actually going to be there or not.
I kind of don't think there is, but I'm trying to play devil's advocate right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Nintendo. Nintendo actually took a small hit in net sales and profit, while all the other giants are making huge profits. Nintendo actually took a small hit, like down like 4% or something. And their software sales has actually gone up by like 20-30%, which is on par with
how do software sales go up and profits go down?
hardware sales.
Hardware sales,
because other companies don't make hardwares.
But is that right though?
Comparison.
Like, are they making money on their hardware sales, or were they pretty much breaking even?
It's year-to-year comparison. So they were making a lot of profit off of hardware previous year,
that's
but
true.
because people have already bought the hardware, they're not buying it this year. So now that the sales gone down, their profits gone down year to year.
I
But they're
just
still
wonder what their
making
profit
money.
margins were on the
Yeah.
hardware. That's the thing, right? Because if they're only
Oh, it's in
making
the
$10
report.
per console, what?
It's in the report. You
Oh,
can read it.
oh,
It's
okay. Well,
it's
never
fun
mind.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you already
Yeah.
analyzed it. Gotcha.
It took me a while.
Because you're a pro.
I mean, it's not a whole lot to read. It's actually pretty simple. It's just I needed to fact check a lot of things.
Sure.
The two biggest first party sellers are Pokemon Arceus and Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Again, surprise to no one because those two games, one of them I play is really fun. Kirby. I've heard nothing but great things from people who are playing Kirby. It's not my game. It's not my kind of game, but man, for those who are like loving the Mario and the kind of the verb Kirby kind of gameplay,
Mhm.
absolutely like just a joy. Nintendo also insists, and this is the fun part from the financial report, that Bayonetta 3 is still scheduled to be released in 2022. Still insisting that,
We'll
even though
see.
we have not seen much information aside from the initial. So we'll see if it'll come out in 2022. I mean, half of 2022 is practically gone. I don't know
Yeah.
when they're planning to release Bayonetta 3. So
Maybe that's why they moved forward Xenoblade Chronicles 3. No,
Yeah,
I'm just
could
kidding.
be.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna beat that dead horse.
could be. I mean, we just don't know what they're thinking, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what they're thinking.
Yeah,
But like,
we'll see. I mean, it could
I'm a
be
little
holiday
pessimistic.
2022. It maybe,
Mm,
maybe.
we'll see. All right, and the last company that we want to kind of cover is Sony. Sony
Mhm.
also saw an increase in the sales figure, albeit not as sharp as the other game publishers and developers. This comes with an increase in sales in PS5. So PS5 sales are going up,
Yep.
possibly because of finally having solved some of the
Supply chain
problems in
stuff.
Scalper. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
scalpers are buying less of it, and more consumer are buying
I
it.
don't think scalping
you
though
know.
is really going to contribute to that. Because I mean, basically, scalpers existing means that a PS4 or PS5 made is a PS5 sold, right? It doesn't matter if it's in the hands of the
Yeah,
end user or not. If it's
but
bought, it's bought.
it is, but also no, because it doesn't count as an install base, right? Because then no one's buying games off of that.
Yeah.
So you have a huge install base and no one's playing it, right?
Mhm.
So and they do make royalty off of games on their platform.
That's
So
true.
they're
That is
not
true.
getting any of that. But now they're starting to rake that stuff in. And also I think it helps that they're more finally starting to have some games where it's like PS5 like exclusive maybe that I feel like is worth the money now.
Mhm.
They're starting to roll in. I'm not saying there's a whole lot, and I'm not trying, but they're starting to roll in. So over the next couple of years, they are projecting more sales on PS5 and more sales on hardware and more royalties and etc. I think the interesting part from this particular report and their forecast is that they have added a line that says, assuming the acquisition of Bungie Inc. Will go through,
Mhm.
which for anyone who may not be following it, is a $3.6 billion acquisition. Not a
Yeah.
small thing.
No.
$3.6 billion. And it is under the FTC investigation. For anyone who lives outside the US, that's the Federal Trade Commission. They investigate in mergers to make sure that there are no antitrust laws being being crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the $3.6 billion figures really put in perspective just how meager the $300 million sales looks for the Eidos Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Now,
talking about it's just crazy stuff from Square Enix. I don't know why they need that money so fast.
I think I've spotted the pattern here for the Japanese game developers doing so well this year, and I think that what that pattern currently is the companies that suffered a lot over the course of 2020 and 2021 are
Mhm.
finally on the other side, and they're releasing a lot of the games that they've been working to put out for a while now. Whereas the hardware developers who had been putting out consoles and people have been buying them up like mad, they've been putting them out this entire time. Well, now they're hitting supply chain issues, or they started hitting supply chain issues, and
Mhm.
that's decreased the output of consoles, or maybe Nintendo's just hitting market saturation with
I think it's
their
just
Switch.
Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it's
So
just Nintendo.
so it could just be Nintendo hitting that market saturation and not having as many games, because I mean the Switch sold like hotcakes when at the height of COVID. I remember it was really tough. You could not find a Nintendo Switch Lite. Yeah, Nintendo.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you couldn't find it because I tried,
Mhm.
because I got one for Amy's birthday because
Oh, okay.
yeah, and she loves it.
What
But it
color did
was,
you get her?
unfortunately, I could only get the gray one because that's the only one that was
Oh,
in
okay.
stock. I would have got her like
Uh-huh.
the green one. I think I would have probably
Yeah.
preferred that.
The teal. Yeah, that one looked really good. Yeah, good
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah, I think it's like teal and like kind of like a salmon pink, and then
And they
like a
also have
gray
yellow.
one
The
and
yellow one
yellow.
was really
Yeah,
nice too, but
yellow looks nice. Yeah. Um. Yeah, but I no, absolutely. I think they're finally hitting saturation. And in fact, and something that I read is the Switch finally overtook total lifetime sale of PS4.
Mhm.
So uh, and that's not a small number because PS4 I think is the most popular console ever made until the Switch just now overtook it. So there you
Pretty
have it.
intense,
And
right?
yeah, and if it hits market saturation, I'm not surprised, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. All righty. Do you want to take the next one?
Sure.
This
So,
is fun stuff.
Yoshi P might have gotten in a little bit of trouble for saying Final Fantasy 16 is in its final stages of development through the Uniqlo pamphlet. So Yoshida also recently expressed that metaverse is boring, which is now, which metaverse is he talking about? Facebook metaverse, or like the concept metaverse? I don't know. In which
I don't know. Maybe the concept.
maybe, okay. So which is in direct
Probably the
contradiction.
concept.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably, because that's in direct contradiction to the concept that Square Enix president has expressed his interest in this year's newsletter. So
Yes.
yeah, Yoshida has said in an interview with the Weekly Bunshun, Bunshun? Okay.
Bunshun, yeah.
Yeah, Bunshun. Okay, I'm sorry. I was just I read that and I was thinking Shinbun. Like it's like the difference between like a paper news and newspaper. Okay,
Yeah,
Bunshin.
no, Shinbun's the thing, but this is
Yeah.
Bunshun. Yes.
Bunshin. Yep. So in metaverse, I'm thinking. Oh yeah, I should say this a little differently, shouldn't I?
Go for it. What does Yoshida's voice sound like to you?
In the metaverse, I'm thinking of people with this. In the metaverse, I'm thinking of people will be able to use an avatar in virtual reality and take a stroll in Shinjuku or do shopping, just like in real life. Though it might be fun, there's no entertainment there. I think that's what he sounds like, right? He says,
man.
What's so interesting about the systems of our real world? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Well said, Yoshi P,
Yeah, well said, Yoshi P. Man, Yoshi P's grown a pair. Oh my god. Like he's ooh.
Yep.
Okay. So just to give some context to all this, recently we reported that Japanese clothing company Uniqlo will have a 35th anniversary Final Fantasy t-shirts collection, right? One for every single main entry. Now, in their pamphlet, not a game magazine, but in this pamphlet, they interviewed Yoshi P, and Yoshi P was like, "Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is in its final stages of development," and I think we talked about that a little bit. But so he got in a little trouble with the PR department for saying such a thing, and which he apologized, I think, on his Twitter. But this also came, right around the time when he got this interview with Weekly Bunshun. So I'm just like, Yoshi P, what's going on, Yoshi P? Because if you think back to the reporting of what gave Square Enix all this money.
I know.
Like, step aside. Like
what you gonna do? What are you gonna do, President?
Nobeta. Yeah, dude. Like, I'm just like
Yoshi P is more like, what you gonna do, huh?
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah. No, and that's why I said, hey, we're gonna talk about Square Enix and we'll come back to it because this is gonna be relevant later, right?
Yeah.
Um, boy, boy, Yoshida, what's going on, buddy? Like
What? I mean, whatever, man. Yeah. I think
step
he's
aside,
speaking
Nobeta.
truth to
Step
power.
aside.
Speaking
Yeah.
truth to power.
Mhm.
That's what this is. Like, he
Yeah.
sure he might have to apologize for it officially speaking, but also he's clearly the one who happens to actually have his finger on the pulse of at least what people want today, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and maybe he just doesn't have the vision that the CEO does, but um he's got a pretty good vision though, I think. I mean,
Yoshida for president 2023. Yo, let's go. I want to see this. I want to see this happen. I forgot who it was, but I think I read this somewhere too. There's
yep.
just like, yeah, we're just really hoping that Yoshida would just place the Square Enix president and just like
Mhm.
guide us towards like, the company that we all know Square Enix can be.
Yeah.
But we shall see. We shall see. Yeah, it's interesting stuff, man. I mean, by the way, small reminder for everyone: the 35th anniversary T-shirts from Uniqlo will begin sell in the U.S. tomorrow, midday, and they tend to sell really fast. So don't sit on it. If you're in Canada, yeah, that sale already started in like April, and if you missed it, you missed it. Sorry. Um, yeah. Alrighty. You want to talk about the next one too? You want to go take that one?
Um, which one here? The
No, the one above that.
yeah. Okay. I
Yeah,
was scrolled a little too far down there. I see. Okay.
I saw you.
All right. So, no, yeah, here. So, Atlus
Mhm.
have opened up a US games survey with questions about their Persona entries, among several others. So SMT games, as well as Project Re Fantasy and Etrian Odyssey, like the survey that they've opened up mentions several, and it asks about also games from companies like Sony, Square Enix, Nintendo, Bandai Namco, and about ports to other platforms. So the survey, if you're interested in participating, is available until the end of today. Uh, yeah. So yeah, if you're if you're curious and you're watching this live, you better go participate. Though do be warned because this thing is long. I tried
Mhm.
filling it out. I had like an hour before the stream started, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll fill out like a quick 5 minute survey. It'll be fine.
It said 45 minutes on the site.
It even said 45
It
minutes.
did. It
It
said 45 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely did not finish filling it out. They ask so, especially if you collect RPGs or play a lot of them, it is
Mhm.
so tedious
Mm.
and long-winded. Honestly, it's such a pain in the butt. But if you want to help exert your influence over
Mhm.
Atlas, this is your
Yeah.
one time a year where presumably they kind of listen to you a little bit. Uh, that is,
Only for 3 days.
yeah, that is the
Oh,
assumption. How
can
long?
I
How long was Square Enix's
5 days.
5 days? Ooh,
Yes.
so
This is even shorter
yeah,
than Square Enix's like notorious survey.
yeah. So in
This is
this one,
3 days.
yeah, in this one they really kind of only don't not really care. I feel like
I
the
am
45-minute delay, like the fact that it takes 40. Here's what it is. So they ask
Mhm,
you they'll ask you what consoles do you have, and then they say,
mhm.
okay, for all of the consoles, how much time do you spend playing them? Uh,
Mm-mm.
for each and every one during the week, during the weekend. It's like, oh
Mm.
my God, this is so freaking exhausting. And a lot of the response options don't make sense. And
Mm.
like, what do you like? How many hours do I play PlayStation 4? What do you mean? Like per day, per week? Like
Yeah,
it's
what's the
it's
time frame?
yeah. And it's like, and is that like on average, or is that like in the last few months? Because like in the last few weeks, I've been playing Nintendo Switch exclusively. But like before that, I was playing, PlayStation 4 and Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and other stuff. So it's just weird.
You
Um,
know what they wanted?
want you to
They
give
wanted
up.
they wanted your lifetime hours of play.
I think they want you to give up. I think they legitimately don't want the information. Because if they
But we
did,
do care. Look
because
at how much we care.
exactly, we'll take your feedback, but only if you dedicate an entire 45 minutes of your life to
Yes.
providing us information that we're not paying you for.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like that's a good way to not get a very good like response rate, no doubt.
Only 3 days.
Like
I wonder what kind of numbers they get.
like you're lucky if I ever respond to like a single questionnaire. Legit, like
Right?
one of those KPIs, like, oh, would you recommend us to a friend? Like, you're lucky if I click, on that at all. But then to have the audacity to be like, here's a 70-page questionnaire. It requires a lot of thinking and a few. I don't know. They probably even have like open text where you have to like freehand like write your answer in the form of a haiku.
I wouldn't be surprised
All the
coming from
hoops.
Atlus. Yes, all the hoops. Yeah. But yeah, hey guys, if you have the time to do it, I mean sure, go for it. Voice your opinion. But boy, set some time apart. And also it's
Set
gonna
some time
like,
aside. Give yourself something to listen to in the meantime, while you're filling it out, like maybe this podcast, for instance.
man, HitPoint is a great idea.
Yeah.
Listen to us as you fill that.
Put some of my reviews on repeat or something.
Yes. No, just put your channel playlist and then just start and then just play. Yeah.
Yeah, the game
absolutely.
collection has a
The
I
game
mean,
collection.
you could get through like four reviews of the game collection in the
reviews.
meantime.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know what? You have reviewed like SMT, so listen to that review as you're filling it out, just to like remind you of how much you like or didn't like the game.
Touche. Yeah. Solid point. All right. You want to take on this next one, dude?
Yes,
Our
let's talk
resident
about
merch drop. Oh no, we're
yes, let's talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah.
Because man, this is upsetting me. No, I'm not gonna lie. This is a thing that's been just on my mind. I've talked about it on my channel. So for those who don't know, I'm currently playing Xenoblade Chronicles the Definitive Edition because I've already finished Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and we're getting ready for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. As a lot of us are. A lot of us are just scrambling now to try to finish the game because it up by like what, 3 months? 2 months? 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months. So instead of end of September, it's end of July, right?
It's a lost cause for me. I've given up.
I would love to see Derek play those 2 games like before. I don't,
Just
it's not gonna
furiously trying to make it through.
happen.
Speed running on my first playthrough.
Skipping all the dialogues. Nope, don't care about your story. I just want to finish the game.
No.
Okay, but let's talk about it, right? Because the special edition site for North America has opened up. But the pre-order still cannot be done as of the time of our show. So I've gone, I looked at it. It says TBA, you can't order it. And just as a reminder to everybody, the special edition, which comes with like a beautiful, like 200-page art book, which I have the one for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That's why I know it's going to be pretty good quality. It's sold exclusively through Nintendo Store and no other marketplace, and that's the reason why people have been kind of like frustrating. There you go. That's what that looks like. So we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll let you guys know as we move towards the release date. Because boy, that's in like what, a month and a half, 2 months, right? So and they're still not doing the pre-order for this thing. I'm just a little nervous on how they're gonna combat the scalpers and what have you. I wouldn't sit on it if you're interested, but we'll definitely let you guys know. It may not be in the show because that might even be too late. So watch out for tweets from Derek and myself once that's available. Now, the pre-order link is in the description, so you can camp it. But also, just for everybody else who is not interested in the special edition, you can pre-order the standard edition through your regular retailers like Amazon, PlayAsia, Best Buy, like what have you. Those are already immediately available. beautiful. So definitely snatch a copy if you haven't done so already, or wait for the special edition, and we'll keep you up to date.
Yeah. Now, speaking of scalpers markets, there's a special edition of the Wii that's currently being scalped. Between a few different parties. So this was initially made by THQ back in 2009. This is a Nintendo Wii that was gold plated, and it was made by THQ for Queen Elizabeth, and
Yes.
it's currently up for auction. They are those jerks are scalping it. Oh well, maybe not these jerks, because it's a little
Yeah.
bit different, because it's already been
Just a little different.
auctioned prior. So
Yes.
this is a very golden edition of the Nintendo Wii console. It's plated in 24 karat gold, and was made for Queen Elizabeth in order to
Yes.
promote their big family games game.
Yes.
So the
That's
Queen,
good point, yeah.
unfortunately, somehow didn't end up receiving this console, because it was apparently accidentally kind of returned to sender. they,
Yes.
they imagine, I guess, sending things to the Queen of England
Yeah,
unannounced, probably,
imagine that. Yeah.
and it just doesn't get there. Oh, what a blunder! So they didn't actually figure out a way to get it to her, unfortunately. So yeah, it was just kind of sitting around THQ's warehouse, I guess.
Yeah.
So
And then somehow that got moved to one person to another, and it was sold.
yeah.
Now
So
we're here again. Yeah.
yep, here we are. So anyways, it's been making the rounds, and it's up for auction again. So if you are into retro consoles, can we call the Wii retro? I think it's pretty retro at this point.
Oh,
2005.
I asked that question recently, and some people thinks that only games prior to PS1 is retro to them.
I mean, to me, yes, because that was kind of like my early childhood. But let's be real. So I think at that time I started calling the NES a retro console. Was probably around the time of like PlayStation 3 coming out, 2005, 2006, right? So by then, the game was, or the console was about 20 years old. It's the Wii. It's not quite 20 years old, but it's getting there.
It's getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, so if you're into gold-plated retro consoles, just to make you all feel old,
Yeah.
and if you've got more than 5,000 buckaroos that you could throw at it, you can maybe be the lucky winner of. I mean, hey, what else are what else are you going to spend that on? A Jack Dorsey
Yeah.
tweet or something? Come on.
Yeah. $5,000. I mean, come on.
That's chump change. I mean,
That's nothing.
and it's made of solid gold. No, not solid gold. Plated gold.
Plated. Yes.
Yeah, gold
24
plated.
karat.
Yeah,
Made for a queen.
that could feed like 24 rabbits, guys.
This is a piece of gaming history. This is a unique art piece, you see. I'm just waiting for some like Saudi prince to just like pick.
Should we? I should probably show what this actually looks like, because
You should, yeah.
I mean,
Let's go to the auction site. Let's see if the bid is up.
Here, let me pull this up on my screen here. So this is what I see at the moment. Current bid 5K.
Nope, still 5K. No one's going above, but there has been 21 bid apparently.
So yeah, check this out. This is a solid gold. I mean, not solid gold. This is a
Gold plated.
gold plated. I keep saying solid gold. But it's gold plated Nintendo Wii. Now this, could you imagine, like, we have some like Nintendo Wiis that, like, this would be like the ultimate Zelda Wii, honestly. Like that's really why my brain goes like with this. Like, forget the golden cartridge, right?
Yeah.
Forget the fake plasticky gold Nintendo Twilight Princess controller, or Skyward Sword controller. This thing would be rad. I doubt that it increases the cooling capability. If it were solid gold, though, it probably would, right?
Yeah.
The conductivity of that would be so great. The heat sinking and soaking of it. Yeah, that's.
I just can't believe that this is a thing. Like, the controller is also gold plated.
Oh, somebody's been using this.
Oh no!
Who?
They messed it up.
The
Oh
no
wow! No
wonder the
wonder it's
bid
only.
is only 5,000.
Yeah. Oh, that's damaged good. That's
That's
not. Oh
that's
no.
that's not particularly good.
How about the console? Is the console still in pristine condition? Hmm.
Well, I mean, the bottom
Hmm.
is okay.
Hmm. Who would actually play with this thing? What is wrong with? Oh, geez. Yeah, actually, on
Yeah.
closer inspection, ooh, does not look great.
On
Yeah.
second thought,
You.
you might be better off
Hmm.
plating your own
Yeah.
for
I
that
think
kind of
you need to
money.
play your own.
Like, I mean, otherwise, the only notoriety is that this one was like going to be gifted to Queen Elizabeth and then
But
wasn't.
never happened. Yep.
Oh God.
Oh man. Well, like,
Well,
hey,
there
I
goes that
we
there goes
yeah.
that fantasy.
Yeah, we have a lot of very wealthy viewers, you see, and they've just got like just a couple of hundreds of thousands just sitting around doing absolutely nothing.
Well, that's not true because those very wealthy viewers are 100% buying that Terra statue.
I was just gonna say, if you didn't want to buy the Terra statue, you can buy this instead. Oh boy.
All right. Well, go ahead and
Alrighty.
take on this next fan project
Yes.
here that we got.
Yeah, so this is basically the last piece of news that we've got for you. Let's talk about Let Me Solo Her again because we were
Hmm.
talking about Elden Ring.
The
So for
legend.
those who didn't catch our previous show, Let Me Solo Her is a now super famous, perhaps the most famous
He's the hero we
play.
deserve.
He's the hero that we deserve. So let's backtrack a little bit. Who is this Let Me Solo Her? Let Me Solo Her is a player who would basically make themselves available to assist any player who's having a hard time beating a basically an optional super boss in Elden Ring, an already super difficult game. And the boss name is Millennia. And um, upon the 1000th time of defeating her, Let Me Solo Her, review that Bandai Namco actually reached out to them to let them know that they will be receiving a special gift from Bandai Namco.
Yeah. What is it?
We're
What's the
not,
special gift?
we don't know. We're not sure what that gift is, but once that happens, I'm sure, they will let us know because I don't see why they wouldn't. So we look forward to seeing what kind of awesome presents Bandai Namco will reward their absolutely most famous player in probably the most well like sold game in perhaps in their history. I don't know if they've sold anything that has this kind of traction. I
Yeah.
actually don't know. Yeah. So now what will Let Me Solo Her do now? Now that Let Me Solo Her have defeated Manalia for 1000 time.
Now he's
They
going to
stated
invade 1,000 people and kill them all.
yes.
He
Revenge.
has to
Uh,
he has to even out the score.
so it sounds like actually they're saying that they stated that the millennium murdering days are now,
They're
and
what?
they actually yeah
The mil-
they're done. Yeah,
Oh,
they're done murdering
no more murder in
millennia. Yeah,
Millennia.
yeah, they're done with that. And now they intend to restart the game all over again and to continue to find new ways to assist others. So good on Let Me Solo Her. Well deserved gift from Bandai Namco. Can't wait to see what that actually may be. What do you think? Like, what do you think Bandai Namco is gonna give him? Oh, her.
Um,
Give them.
a pot.
You know what? Maybe like an
An
actual
in-game pot
replica of
helmet.
the.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I think Bandai Namco would send them a replica of the what is that thing called? Like the pot that that he wears or
Yeah, the
the
helmet head
character
pot.
wears. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
that's exactly what it's got to be. Either that. I mean, I would
yeah.
prefer the katanas, but they'll probably get the pot.
Yes, definitely. And signed. And signed. The pot will be signed.
100% signed. Yeah,
Yeah, 100% signed. Oh my god. I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited for them.
I know.
And yeah, and you know what, Bandai Namco? you're doing all right. You're doing all right. You're all right by me. You know, you're releasing good games. You're treating your fans right.
Yeah,
I've got nothing bad to say about you right now.
right
So
now.
right now, right now.
In
Also,
3
they
weeks, it'll
released.
be what have you done for me lately?
I mean, they've got Super Robot Wars, and I love that
I
game.
know. I'm just teasing.
They got Tails. I mean,
See that
Tails of
just a
Arise was amazing.
just a subtle commentary about how like everybody's darling one day, and then they do one thing bad the next day. Everybody's like, screw you, you're going, whatever. But it's just we're a fickle beast, and I just acknowledge that in the moment.
Yeah.
They're for now they all
For
right.
now, you're a darling for now, but
Yeah.
we're keeping an eye on you, Bandai Namco. Don't you stray away from that good path now.
Oh man.
Alright.
So before we wind down, Baku, what are you doing these days? Where can people find you?
Oh boy, you can find me playing Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition at twitch.tv/Bakusan JRPG down below in the description, where we will be playing. And I actually just started. I'm on like day 2, day 3, and I typically stream Wednesday through Sunday. Although this Sunday today, I'm actually a little busy today doing stuff, so I won't be streaming today. But you will typically find me actually streaming right after the podcast. As for the reason why I'm so busy, as I probably mentioned before, but now that we've got more folks in here, I will mention it again. We are doing a charity raid train that will last 7 days with basically more than 70 and counting streamers involved. I think like 64 streamers in the
Mhm.
actual train, with like maybe 20, 30 streamers on a sidecar that will raid in. So, close to 100 streamers who will partake in this activity. And I'm actually at the very last leg. I'm the very last streamer. So
Oh,
I'm a
wow.
little concerned. That
They're
that
going
that
out
that
on with a bang then, for sure.
I don't know about that, but I am a little worried. So hey, if you guys want to find out more about these details, you want to ask me what this thing is about, I'm happy to talk more about it. Just reach out to me on Twitter.
Yeah.
In fact, if you find me on Twitter, you can see all kinds of tweets that talks about the raid train. So all the information is over there, because I don't want to take up too much time, but that's what I'm like working on. You gotta understand, like I'm like redoing my Twitch channel. I am doing a whole bunch of things. I just bought a stream deck, so I'm messing with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not streaming
It's
today.
gonna be
I
a lot
got
of
work to do.
fun.
Yeah,
All right.
but that's what's up with me. How about you, Derek? What are you up to?
Well, Friday's video was a review, a quick experience points review of Radical Dreamers, as included in the Radical Dreamers edition of Chrono Cross. So if you're curious to see if that is a game that might be up your alley, spoilers, it might not be, but check it out anyway, because it's actually, Baku, I think you might enjoy even more than you already love Chrono Cross.
Oh,
I suspect actually, and I mean that not ironically. Like, I know you don't really
Oh,
care for Chrono
really?
Cross, but you might actually not mind this.
Okay.
As a standalone visual novel kind of experience.
Okay.
And it's only like a dozen hours or less. So so check that out if you're interested in maybe picking up a copy of Radical Dreamers. Also, the second of 3 of my collaboration videos has released with Bitmap Books over on their YouTube channel, where I gave a brief history of the Persona series,
I
starting
saw that.
starting
Saw that.
oh yeah,
Saw that.
starting
Saw
with the original Megami Tensei on the Famicom, all the way up through the current iterations of the Persona titles. But it's mostly got the focus on the Persona, but it tells you a little bit about like how it's connected to the originals and all that. So if you're interested, check that out, because they've also got a pre-order that's now available for their newest upcoming print run of the Guide to Japanese RPGs. And a lot of you guys have tweeted at me that you got your copies and you love it. So it's not really, so the video I made on their behalf was like sponsored by them, like it was commissioned by them, and but honestly, the book is fantastic, and they're not paying me to say that or to even mention it in this episode or whatever. I just really love it. Legitimately, it's been very useful to me, and I think you should check it out as well if you're interested. So over on Twitch, though, I'm currently streaming my way through Chrono Cross, and I'm very excited for that. And it's been over 10 years since I last played it, and it's just legit one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 1. And it's just been I think we're probably gonna play through it a couple of times, you know.
A couple of times.
Yeah, you know, because I just
Really?
I think so. We're gonna probably do the new game plus and do the extra stuff, and
Okay.
it's just been a lot of fun, and I just want to savor it, you know. Uh
Just remember that secret ending that they have taken a lot of effort to hide away.
oh yes, yes,
Just
yes.
remember that one. Yep.
Well, I've already played through and finished my playthrough of Radical Dreamers. So
Of course.
half
Of
that's
course.
already done.
Yes.
So anyways, links to our Twitch channels and everything else are going to be in the description down below. Before we wrap things up, we should probably take a gander at some of these super chats that have been piling up today.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, let's take a quick look at these. Yeah, so we got one here from Mr. Duo Beard, the man, the hardest working dude. So hard working that he's actually got two beards, hence the name. Duo Beard, who says, "Shout out to Master Derek and Baku. You're amazing." No, Baku. I think we both disagree, right? Duo Beard, you're amazing.
Dual beers. I mean.
And he also sent another one and says, "I'm all for cute souls. Need to tone down the chaos."
Oh Jesus.
And I think that's something we can both agree with. Conversely, we do need to tone down that chaos.
Yeah, just a little bit. Also, cute souls is a pretty good name.
I
was
do love
thinking
it.
about a way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like cute 'em up, but souls, like cute
Yes.
souls. Yeah. Okay,
souls.
so behind the freezer says, favorite JRPG protagonist. Love the show, by the way, and thank you. So
Hey,
behind
thank
the
you.
freezer,
Love
thank
you.
you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Favorite
Go for it, man.
JRPG protagonist. I got to think about it
Favorite?
for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm trying to fight the recency bias and not say Surge, because that's where my head is right now. You know, recency bias just says the thing, you know, that I just played. Of course, that's my favorite thing because I just played it, right? But there's a lot, you know. I think I
I've
kind
got
of
a
like
couple
Justin.
too, yeah.
I think I kind of like Justin from Grandia. Yeah.
Okay.
He's just such a, you know, he's got that happy-go-lucky kind of protagonist voice, you know, and he just wants to take on the world and find out what it means to be an adventurer. You know, and it's just like, it's a little generic and to some degree, but also infectiously optimistic, and I just love it, you know. I think I'm gonna go with, for now, at the moment, top of my head, Justin.
I've got. Can I? Is it okay if I cheat a little bit, because I feel like I don't really have like
No
a
cheating
main
allowed.
character.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
I don't have one. I don't have one main character.
Oh, you just love all of the main characters in Chrono Cross. I get you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cop out and just say I love all. No. Well, I'll tell you what I don't like. Silent protagonist. I'm looking at you, Chrono. No, I'm just gonna cheat a little bit and say, you know, I my favorite characters. I'll actually give you three. My favorite characters: Estelle, 2B, and Laura from
Understand.
Xenoblade. Wait, what?
Huh?
What?
You one of your favorite protagonists is Estelle.
Yes,
Really?
I love Estelle. Yeah, and I'll just give you a simple reason for that is because I feel like those are the kind of female protagonists that are written well, and I want to see more.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all powerful in their own rights, right? Within the universe, they're not the most powerful beings, you know, but they stand their ground. They learn, they grow, but also, like, you know, they're just they got that, like, you know, mental toughness that carries them through. So I like that in protagonists. So I'm just gonna go name those three. So yes, I cheated a little bit. It's not one, but it is three of my favorites.
So solid picks, by the way. We also got one from Naticus here, who says, "Remember that pretentious guy who won't shut up about coffee? Whatever happened to him?"
Coffee. What
Yeah,
about the bribe?
he's talking about Naticus. He's talking about himself.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I think that's who he's talking about. He's
I
the
was
only
like,
pretentious
yeah,
guy
what?
I know about, who never stops talking about coffee. Love you, Nat. Thanks, man.
I think he's always talking about like grilling steaks. At least that's what he always talks to me about.
Oh, he always talks to me about, he actually brews his own coffee.
Does he? He brews his own coffee?
No,
Wait,
it's
do you mean
a
he roasts his own coffee?
he does roast his own coffee, but it was
Okay.
he was telling a story that I love retelling it. Where he was talking to that about somebody, and she introduced him to somebody else as being like, "Oh, by the way, here's Naticus. He brews his own coffee," and the guy and the people that she was talking to just like looked at him like, "What? Oh, good
Yeah,
for you,
okay.
dude."
Yeah. Wow, that's
No, but
pretty
he roasts
amazing.
he roasts his own coffee, and he's really into it, and does the whole, he does the
Of
whole
course he does.
pretentious thing. I'm pretty sure he also owns a Bripe. Speaking of which, Duo Beard mentioned, is this referring to the SuperDerek CE Bripe? And I think maybe it is.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I don't
gotta
even know
love the
what I
Bripe.
would
Do you
bribe.
have your Bripe? Have you briped recently? Nat,
No.
you have not. No,
I'm not bribed at all.
you have not used it
I
yet.
haven't used it.
How did I convince you to spend that money on a Bripe and you've never used it?
I like having coffee apparatus. Like
That's,
I
I mean, it is a
yeah.
really cool discussion piece, and
Yeah, it's a nice conversation piece that I've never used.
I have, and it works pretty fine, just
I've used the
fine and
butane
dandy.
lighter more than I've used the
It's actually a really good lighter. For anybody who's not familiar with the heck we're talking about, check out briping.com, briping.com, and it's basically the most hipster way that you can think of to drink coffee by smoking it in a pipe, in like a
yeah.
and when I say a pipe, like I'm talking about like a corncob pipe, but it's made of entirely of brass, and it's pretty cool, but super
Yeah.
super hipstery and looks pretty steampunk. I honestly kind of love it.
But
But
also not actual any smoke involved.
yeah,
We're
you
not
just
smoking coffee. Okay?
yeah,
We're not.
it's like it's more like a, how Sherlock Holmes is often depicted as like smoking a pipe but it blowing bubbles out of it. It's kind of like
Yeah.
that. It's not really a
Yes.
pipe. It's just aesthetics of a pipe. It's
Yeah.
great.
I love it. Yeah. I've shown people that they're like, what is this device? What does this do? I'm like, let me tell you about it. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey,
Alrighty.
that is unfortunately the end of this week's episode.
Much sad.
Until the next week, I hope you all have a
Until
great
next
rest
week.
of your week. If you're listening on any of the cool podcasting platforms out there, and if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give us a decent rating if you feel like we deserved it. Otherwise, if you're watching here on YouTube and you made it all the way to the end, consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Maybe give the like button some love there if you'd be so inclined. Much appreciated, because it does help this podcast grow and reach newer heights and reach greater audiences. Not that any of them could be any greater than you. No, don't ring the bell. That's too much. All right, guys. Until then, I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next episode. Baku, have you got any
Fair.
closing thoughts?
Man, I wish I invested into these companies and I didn't. I'm
Oh,
making
shoot.
record sales. Yeah, I invested in Sony and I sold it, and I kind of.
All right. Well, see you later, folks.
Good night.